Everybody. Let's see. So I just want to welcome the public, those that are here, also those that are in Zoom, and my colleagues as well. Also just we'll be starting the meeting right now at 6:06 p.m. I also wanted to just let everybody know the participation. So today, Wednesday, May 15, you are joining us for our Joint City Council Successor Agency Housing Authority meeting. And there are different ways that you can participate. One moment. And I want to thank everyone for bearing with me. This is my first full meeting. So the different ways that you can join our meeting are of course, in person, as some of you are doing here right now. Also, you could join us via Zoom. And that ID is 863-452-99770. You can also call 1-669-900-6833 and use the same ID, 863-452-99770. Also, we are now on YouTube, so you are welcome to join us on our YouTube channel. And I believe we have translation in Spanish also for those that are Spanish speaking. So with that said, we call this meeting to order, and if we could please get a roll call.
Mayor Ana Velasquez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corrego,
Here.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Here.
Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez.
Here.
Thank you, Darlene. So next we're gonna go into the next item of business, which is public comment on closed session items. So before we get there, I did just want to read some instruction. At this time, any member of the public may address the council agency on closed session items appearing on the agenda. Speakers shall have limited time of 3 minutes, and please be brief and to the point. We do have a pretty hefty agenda today. We do have 2 closed session items, and I will go ahead and read those. Okay, the first one, the City Council of the City of Soledad will recess to closed session to meet with its designated representatives regarding labor relations, matters pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The employee organizations are the Soledad Police Officers Association, SEIOU Local 521 General Unit, and SEIU Local 521 Mid-Management, and also unrepresented employees. Our second closed session item will be the City Council will recess to closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 to give instruction to the city's negotiators concerning the sale, exchange, or lease of property located at 183 Soledad Street. Do I read the assessor first? Okay, thank you. Instructions will include price and terms of payment. So at this point, I will take it out to the public, to those in the chamber. If there's anyone who has a public comment, and again, it's only regarding these 2 items on our closed session. Okay, as I see none, we will go out to those on Zoom. I am not on Zoom, so I don't know if Stephen, can you help me with that? Okay, perfect, thank you. Let me see. Okay, so with that, we will go into closed session and then we will be returning. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. So before we go on, I just did want to point out, we had some technical difficulties earlier. I know we do have, our mayor, Ana Velasquez, who is participating from a remote location. She is at the AC Hotel in Sacramento. Do I have to give the address? Okay. Okay, so I did just want to say that she is, with us remotely, and hopefully we will have her, up on the screen. So thank you for that, Stephen. So,
And Darlene, the record, we should reflect that the mayor did participate fully in the closed session. Okay, great, thank you.
so I will pass it on to our city attorney, Mike Rodriguez, to report on our 2 closed session items.
Yes, on item number 1, the council provided directions to its labor relations negotiator with respect to negotiations with the groups that are listed on the agenda, the SBOA and the SEIU units. And no other reportable action was taken. And then with respect to item 2, which is the real property item, the council provided directions to its real property negotiators with respect to the sale of the identified property at 183 Soledad Street, and no other reportable action was taken.
Thank you for that, Mike. Now I ask everyone to please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, and our own Don Wilcox, if you could please lead us on the pledge. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and for all justice.
Thank you. So now we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is additions, modifications to the agenda. Megan, do we have any changes to the agenda to report?
We do have one on consent item C-9 regarding the flock cameras. We have an amended resolution just to make certain findings that we are required to do in terms of the bidding process. Flock is a unique technology that is unique to this system, and that is why we didn't go through the typical bidding process. And so we did make some additional findings there related to that.
Thank you. All right, now we will go into the public comment section here. And at this time, any members of the public may address the city council on items not appearing on the agenda and items of interest to the public that are within the jurisdiction of this council. Public comments are generally limited to 3 minutes. The time of public comments may be further limited depending on the agenda schedule. Today, we will allow for 3 minutes. Please be brief and to the point. No action or discussion shall be taken on items not appearing on the agenda. If you would like a reply or contact from our staff, you are welcome to leave your information. I'm not sure we have our cards, our comment cards, but you can leave the information with staff. Thank you. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Velasquez and council members. My name is Teresa Sullivan, and I'm the retired executive director of the Alliance on Aging. But I'm here to share a project I'm working on with the Alliance and a lot of other community members. The California Department of Aging awarded a grant to the Alliance on Aging to lead a consumer-driven, multi-sector project which would create a blueprint for an age and disabilities friendly community. And we have begun the process, which will be focused on the geographic areas of Salinas, Coondale, Castroville, Soledad, Gonzales, Greenfield, King City, and all the rural areas in between, including areas south of King City. And so one of the first things that we did was convene an advisory committee, which Mayor Velasquez sits on. There are 3 different committees About 52 members have been meeting for the last several months, since October on a monthly basis. We have selected a research group to design an assessment tool for us. Our committees have reviewed the tool and the process. The survey was actually launched in mid-April. One of the other things we've been doing is a kind of resource review, asset inventory of what the current assets are, resources in the communities that we're looking at. And so we've had presenters, providers from all the different sectors come and do presentations. It's been impressive, and it's been a really valuable process. In fact, tomorrow, Jessica Potts from the city of Soledad is going to come and talk about the senior services that are available here. So once the survey is completed, which will be late May, early June, we will then, or the results will be compiled. We'll then take it to the community via community forums. So there'll be a forum in every city that I mentioned. And so we will review the survey. We will have some discussion. We will have the group identify priorities and make recommendations, which will all be part of the plan. And so again, we want this to be a very inclusive process. And that's kind of where I'm going to be looking towards you for your assistance, support. And that is in helping us to outreach to the community about the forums that we're going to be convening. We want as much community input from the individuals in that community as possible. I might pick your brain about venues and times for these. We're looking at late July, August, September, and October. So, you know, it's good news. I hear my 3 minutes is up. I'm not asking for any money. So that's part of the good news. And I think it's great to be part of this exciting project and part of shaping your community that you love and you're going to age in. The good thing about age-friendly communities is they're also.
Thank you, Teresa.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else on the chamber who would like to do a public comment? Okay, being that I see none, we could take it out to Zoom, Stephen?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. So with that said, we will move on to council presentations, and we do have two council presentations today. Alrighty, so again, due to the time limits, due to our agenda, I wanted to go ahead and do the two proclamations. And then after the two proclamations, then we will bring it to council for council comments. Hopefully we could leave them maybe between 1 to 1.5 minutes. And then if we have a representative from those receiving the proclamations, we will allow 1 minute if they want to come up to the podium and speak. So thank you for that. So the first proclamation that we have is for the National Police Week, and I will go ahead and read that. I need to get closer. Thank you. Not sure if everyone can hear me. So this is a proclamation of the City Council of the City of Soledad recognizing May 12th to May 18th as National Police Week. Whereas law enforcement officers across our nation dedicate their lives to safeguarding our communities, upholding the law, and ensuring the safety and security of all citizens. And whereas these brave officers face daily challenges and risks in the line of duty, demonstrating courage, professionalism, and selflessness in their service to others. And whereas National Police Week provides an opportunity for all Americans to express gratitude and appreciation for tireless efforts and sacrifices made by law enforcement officers, as well as to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. And whereas the dedication and commitment of the Soledad Police Department contribute significantly to the preservation of peace, justice, and the rule of law, thereby enriching the fabric of our society. And whereas the Soledad Police Department continues its tireless effort to engage the community through pop-up events, community engagement, and citizen academies. Now therefore, let it be proclaimed that the city council of the city of Soledad hereby proclaims the week of May 12th to May 18th as National Police Week. We encourage all community members to join us in acknowledging the vital role that the Soledad Police Department plays in our community. Let us express our heartfelt appreciation for keeping our community safe and thriving. And with that said, we will go ahead and read the second proclamation. Councilmember Alzado Sanchez, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So this is a proclamation of the City Council of the City of Soledad proclaiming recognition of National Public Works Week from May 19 to May 25th, 2024, advancing quality of life for all. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the City of Soledad. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are parks and streets maintenance workers, engineers, water and wastewater operators, and administrative and support staff at all levels of government who are responsible for maintaining, rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water systems, wastewater systems, and solid waste systems, public buildings, parks, vehicle fleet, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the City of Soledad to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the City of Soledad is a member of the American Public Works Association, also known as APWA, and South County Public Works Association, comprised of the cities of Gonzales, Soledad, Greenfield, and City of Keene. And whereas in keeping with this year's APWA theme of advancing quality of life for all, the public works departments of the cities of Gonzales, Soledad, Greenfield, and City of Keene continue to collaborate to improve services to our communities. And whereas the City of Soledad is a member of the American Public Works Association, and whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, be it now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Soledad hereby proclaims May 19th to the 25th, 2024 as National Public Works Week. The City Council encourages all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
Thank you. So then at this point, we will go ahead and we will take council comments on both proclamations. So I will start at my left because I only have council members on my left. So we will just do Alzado Sanchez, Cabrera, and then Mayor Velasquez.
Yeah, so I'll keep mine short. Just again, thank you so much to both our peace officers as well as our public works folks for making our city great. Thank you so much.
I keep it even shorter. Thank you so much for all the work that you guys do. Every time that we need you guys, you're there already before we call you. So thank you so much for that work.
Mayor Velasquez?
Yeah, thank you. I know it's important to keep it short, but I also know it's important to be able to provide the comments, recognizing our public safety. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do. I know our public safety has gone above and beyond, and really the implementation of community policing efforts have been really vital to our community, has really brought and fostered the trust and continues to foster trust within our community. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And then also to our public works, congratulations on the recognition for National Public Works. Our infrastructure is really critical. And I think for many of us, especially many of our citizens, just a recognition that Public Works is such an integral part of what makes a city work and all of the different components. So thank you to all of our great Public Works team and also to the APW. I know that they've been doing a lot also to really doing a lot more outreach in terms of how critical Public Works is to our cities. So congratulations.
Thank you. On my behalf, I just want to say again, thank you to both our police department and to our public works department. I love the wording on our proclamation, and it is so true how tirelessly our police department works on community policing. So thank you for that. As to our public works, they are hardworking. Not only are they hardworking, but they are innovative. Definitely leaders when it comes to public work. So just want to thank both departments and our department heads, our amazing leaders here. And with that said, if we could just take a few moments and to be able to go down and take some photos, and we could probably have council and as well as our department heads or anyone else that's here representing our police department or our public works, get a photo, please. Thank you.
Well, through the chair, can we hear their comments if they have any?
Yes, thank you, definitely.
I'll go first. Mayor and council, I want to thank you for recognizing the hard work that the police department does. We have a great team, and I'm going to include Public Works with that because we work really well throughout the city with everyone. You have a great department. We have a great department. We have some dedicated folks that really care about the community. And I just want to thank them and thank you for allowing us to work for the city.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor and Council, Don Wilcox, Public Works Director. I want to echo what the police chief said. This Public Works team does work well with the police, but they also just really enjoy working for the city. We have about 15 to 17 Public Works staff that live in Soledad, in addition to the entire group of 39. We have Gabriel, Obed, Alex, and Jose here from Public Works, as well as engineering. Oh, and Rico? Jorge, okay, Jorge, one of our newer staff, as well as Alex and Liam. And the Public Works poster for this year is very colorful, and quality of life is what Public Works does. Soledad Public Works does seem to carry it a notch above. We do collaborate with the other cities, but when you drive through the cities, you can see it. It's like, I think it's mostly due to these guys, but and those guys. So I'm very proud of Public Works and happy to have another anniversary of APWA.
Awesome. Thank you, Don.
And can one of them have a minute for?
Sure.
Jose, you gonna be the spokesman again, or?
Hello, Jose Carrillo, senior maintenance mechanic / mentor. So I say thank you for giving us the opportunity to work for a great city. I live here, I was born and raised here, and it takes a lot of pride just to, you want your city to look good. And this city does look good compared to the other ones. Yeah, so I want to say that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So I don't know if this is appropriate or not, and either Mike or Megan can let me know, but I really did want to give a huge applause to our, to all of our workers that are here. We really appreciate you. So it was. Now we will go ahead and take that photo. Thank you. And we are back, so thank you again to our wonderful police department and our public works and staff. With that said, we will move on to our consent calendar, and we do have. Let me see.
19.
Okay, before we move on to our consent calendar, thank you, we do have a presentation. And so I would like to call on our contract city manager, Leon Gomez. Engineer Leon Gomez for the report.
I got replaced.
He's like, I know. I got promoted. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Council, City Attorney, City Manager.
And so as Leon is getting ready, I just want to say he is going to do a brief presentation regarding AB 413, which is also known as daylighting on our Front Street site distance, always stop presentation. So with that said, if you're ready, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And with me, I have Leo Trujillo online with TL Engineering, who is the city's on-call traffic engineer. And in our continuing effort to keep you all appraised of various safety, transportation related measures throughout the city, we're doing a presentation tonight on AB 413 daylighting, the Front Street site distance evaluation. So I believe my presentation is up. We'll start with Assembly Bill 413 daylighting. It's a new law to protect and improve public safety by increasing the visibility of pedestrians and bicyclists for drivers at crosswalks and intersections, a safety measure known as daylighting. And you can see in the graphic on the left, a typical crosswalk situation, intersection situation prior to AB 413, and then what after AB 413 would occur by not allowing or preventing the parking of any vehicles within 20 feet of an intersection. The bill took into effect January 1st of this year and amended section 22500 of the California Vehicle Code to prohibit the stopping, standing, or parking of any vehicle within 20 feet of any unmarked or marked crosswalk or within 15 feet of a crosswalk where a curb extension is present. Without vehicles blocking sight lines near intersections, drivers can more clearly see if a pedestrian is waiting to cross the street and can better see approaching vehicles. Prior to January 1st of next year, jurisdictions, agencies, cities can only issue a warning and shall not issue a citation for a violation unless a violation were to occur in an area that's clearly marked using paint or a sign. And I just want to stress that the city is still collaborating with other local and regional cities on how best to address this new law. Again, it just came into effect a few months ago. I can tell you from Dawn and I attending the monthly TAMC TAC meetings, a lot of the other agencies are still grappling with how best to implement or how best to enforce AB 413. Here's a graphic that shows kind of clearly on the left, a typical situation now prior to AB 413. Again, you have a vehicle parked there on the right side. And then after AB 413 with that 20 feet of no parking clearance, you can see in this particular case, pedestrian crossing the street. Okay, moving on, another safety measure that was evaluated was multi-way stop warrants. So several safety concerns were expressed at intersections and locations within the city by not only the police department, but the community and other city staff members. Performing a multi-way stop warrant analysis is one of the best ways to assess safety at a given intersection or location. So our on-call traffic engineer, Leo with TL Engineering, conducted a multi-way stop warrant analysis at 3 initial locations: Monterey Street, Benito, San Vicente Gavilan, and Orchard Lane, Ventura Drive. The multi-way stop warrant analysis involved 6 criteria that were evaluated, and they're listed here: existing volume and delay, collision history, left turn activity, vehicle and pedestrian conflicts, sight distance, and similar streets. And at this time, Leo, would you like to share the results of your evaluation?
Sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, so I'll just run down the items that we analyzed here. So the 3 intersections, including Monterey Street, Benito Street, That one met the always stop warrant assessment, so we are recommending that one be converted to always stop. Same thing for the San Vicente Road and Gavilan Drive, converting that one to always stop. Orchard Lane and Ventura Street did not meet the warrants, so we are recommending that that intersection remain as is, side street stop control only. And we have also been requested by the city to provide these same always multi-way stop warrants at 4 intersections along Front Street, including Front and West, Front and Benito, Front and Encinal, and Front and Soledad.
Thank you.
So
Next.
as part of the Front
Go
Street
ahead, Leo.
project, we actually did site distance evaluations at all the project intersections along Front Street. Intersection site distance, what it is the distance a motorist can see approaching vehicles before their line of sight is blocked by an obstruction. Adequate site distance is necessary to support safe turning movements at each intersection. Site distance was evaluated at intersections on Front Street based on the Caltrans Highway Design Manual criteria. There are actually 3 types of site distance, but the one that is applicable to the intersections along Front Street is corner site distance. This was evaluated based on the posted speed limit on Front Street, driver's position on intersecting side streets, and measured to the center of the eastbound and westbound through lanes on Front Street. For the best safety, the entire area within the site distance triangle, which we'll show here in the next slide, should be free of any visual obstructions, including parked cars, landscaping, trees, buildings, or any other street furniture. So here's an example of one of the intersections that we evaluated for the site distance assessment. The yellow area here in the triangles pretty much depicts the site distance triangles that should be kept clear line of sight. So as you can see, they're overlapping with a lot of these diagonal on-street parking spaces, right? So the city is actually taking an initiative to preserve the existing on-street parking because we know how vital that is to the community and to the commercial property owners along Front Street. So in an effort to preserve the existing parking and the landscaping, so we are proposing to evaluate always stop warrant analysis at these intersections as well, because providing an always stop condition at these intersections, it actually alleviates and provides additional safety when you don't have the adequate site distance. And here's another example, right, of another intersection we studied. This is at Front and Main, and this is actually an always stop condition already as it is. So as you can see, the site distance triangles are also going over the parking spaces, yet this intersection is already always stop control, so the safety concern is much less.
Brings us to the end. Short and sweet presentation. Ready for questions?
That's how we like it. Thank you so much for that, Leon, and Leo, thank you as well. I will go ahead and start to the left with Councilmember Fernando and Santos Sanchez. If you have any questions first.
I do. I have a few actually. I know how important this is, and thank you so much for bringing it up. I do have a little bit of concerns about the always stop warrants, which is funny because last time we were here, I was talking about how we need to be safer and stuff like that and lower speed limits. But of course, I have other thoughts as well. I'm just when we're doing these sorts of assessments, I know that we have to like go through what is required by policy and stuff like that. But I'm wondering if we are also considering our future growth. And I'm thinking like, because the stop warrant for Gavilan and San Vicente Road, I know that we're going to be going through a road diet in the future where it might impact and have more folks using that street. So I'm wondering if having a lot of stop signs is going to cause traffic. And if those sort of impacts are being thought of. I'm thinking like, for example, I work in San Jose and traffic's crazy, so sometimes I have to go through Morgan Hill, and even there they have a lot of stops back to back that causes traffic. So I'm wondering if that was considered.
Leo, feel free, but I can start by saying one of the criteria, and put the slide back up, is existing volume and delays. So we're dealing with the volume of traffic that we encounter now And with Miramonte being off in the future, that's probably one of the constraints. So feel free, Leo, if you'd like to elaborate on that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, Leon. So one of the first criteria is, to assess existing traffic volumes and delay at each intersection. We will evaluate them for existing conditions with it, which is the side street stop control condition, and then compare that to the always stop condition. And we typically, don't recommend, intersections to be always stop if the delay is going to be exacerbated or the delay is going to be so much that intersections or the street segment itself is not going to operate and function correctly. So that is one of the items that we'll be looking at.
I'm next.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is more, are we applying all of this to all the city, whole city, or just in areas?
On the multi-way stop warrants, we've done 3 intersections so far. The next phase is the Front Street intersections where there are currently not always stops. Because the Front Street project is coming online with the revamp that we'll hear about later. So right now, that's the first set of 7 locations that we're doing with the multi-way stop warrants. As we continue and we hear from either the community, PD staff or other concerns, we can certainly expand to other areas of the city.
Cause I see like my street in La Colina and Orchard. So when I'm coming this way, going east, there is parkings in the side. So I cannot see, I have to almost go into the street to see it. And I seen that in Front Street. And I think that Front Street will be perfect with 4 stops in most of the streets. Cause you have to literally almost cross the street to see that incoming traffic.
And that's.
But for other streets, are we gonna look into it or?
We can, again, it starts with a safety concern at a particular location. So the first 3 that we showed here with Monterey Benito, San Vicente Guedelin, Orchard Lane Ventura were because safety concerns were identified at those locations. So as we identify subsequent safety concerns, we can certainly discuss and then tack it on to the locations for which we do multi-way stops.
I think the daylighting would help in the intersection. So the daylighting citywide. So your intersection would be covered by the daylighting.
And Don, I'm sorry, would you like to speak so that those out on Zoom can hear you? Thank you.
So yeah, just to further explain the daylighting, the first one where you can't park within 20 feet of an intersection, that will be citywide.
Okay.
So nowhere in the city can you park within 20 feet of a marked or unmarked crosswalk. So the sight distance would be better than putting in a 4-way stop there.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera. We will take it out to Mayor Velasquez in Sacramento. Do you have questions for us?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the information. Obviously, this is because we have to be in compliance with AB 413. But in some of those areas for the unmarked crosswalks, I guess for me, it's just kind of the enforcement, right? How is the enforcement going to happen? What are the costs for the proposed, at least in the ones that were identified? And then also, what's the time frame that we have to reach compliance? And then I know that we have a lot going on in terms of, as you had mentioned, Leon, there's a lot of road work that's going to be done. This is a massive undertaking in terms of the infrastructure, the Front Street project. And then we also have the Safe Routes to School project. So for me, it's making sure that we're looking at it in a comprehensive manner. And if we're doing infrastructure improvement in these areas, that we're really looking at all of the other surveys and feedbacks that we received to implement, to really, implement everything at one time as best as we can. I guess those are my concerns. And then on the Front Street, I know that we've talked about a 2-hour parking. I mean, we talked about it before in terms of just a lot of those vehicles that are parked on Front Street, making it just, ensuring that we have more availability also for parking. Can we also consider looking at a 2-hour parking requirement on Front Street? And would that alleviate some of the concerns with traffic?
I'm sorry, Mayor, the very first question I think had to do with costs. Is that right?
Yes.
The costs to implement AB 413. Okay, we don't have any figures yet, but I believe we included in our CIP for next year an analysis.
80,000.
80,000 to do a citywide evaluation of the impacts of AB 413 and how it will best be addressed. To answer your second question, Ms. Mayor, normally when this type of legislation is rolled out, there's a 2 to 3 year period to evaluate for agencies to figure out how they're going to address and implement. In the case of AB 413, they've given everybody a year. So a lot of agencies, again, we're kind of not back against the wall, but we've got a short period of time in which to figure out what to do. The TAMC TAC group is actually convening next month with an update on what all the various cities and the region are doing with respect to AB 413. I can tell you that some initial discussions are about not painting every intersection red. It's maintenance, it's cost, you have to replace it, and either potentially installing signs that say no parking from, the sign to the corner, or just striping your parking tees and angled parking so that they end within 15 to 20 feet. Now, in the case of Front Street, we actually are fortunate because in the downtown business district where we have the curb extensions and the bulb outs, they extend so far that they cover that 15-foot difference. So due to AB 413 on the main thoroughway of Front Street, it actually has very little to no impact. It's more the sight distance triangles that we saw early in the presentation. But again, those will be mitigated by the multi-way stop warn analysis. So right now, AB 413 does not appear to be having an impact on Front Street as it will at other locations around town because of the existing bulb outs in the downtown district. But yes, we are applying that to other projects as they come down the road, the ATP project and our safety improvement project intersections, to make sure that we anticipate the legislation as it comes down the way.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I did have a couple questions. And so my question was, are we expecting to lose parking throughout the city because of this?
Yeah.
Yes, and so.
That's the immediate.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. And so my concern, of course, as I'm sure it is for everyone else on the council, is that right now at a time when, as a city, as a state, as a country, we're really in need of housing. And so we, along with the state are trying to get more ADUs, trying to look into generational housing, things that are more affordable for our community. I think that is something that we definitely have to start looking into. I believe we have until January 2025 to start enforcing
Correct.
this and following it. And so I think we do have a little bit of time, not a lot, but I think that's definitely something that staff should start looking into when it comes to that. And then also my next thing, of course, it's gonna be, the funding. We just had closed session meeting, on things that do impact our budget. So have we applied for any grants or to see if there's any grants that are available?
As far as I know today, specific for AB 413, not that I'm aware.
Or just to help us overall when it comes to, having safe streets and such,
So, yeah, we are pursuing a very large active transportation program grant, which will include corridor improvements citywide, a lot of safe routes to school improvements. And insofar as those improvements get realized, legislation like AB 413 would be applied. The site distance evaluations would be done as part of the design process. So all of those improvements. And right now those corridors are, Gavilan from San Vicente to Orchard down to Palm and Third. So, some pretty extensive corridors that will be revamped, taking into account these measures.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions. With that, we will go into last final comments from council. If there's any final comments, we'll just keep the same.
Nothing too much, just looking forward to this. I think this is something a lot of residents were interested in, especially the Monterey and Benito always come. I think there's been some issues there. And I'm looking forward to also the daylighting. I think it's something that is needed. I speak for myself, where I live, folks park really close to a stop sign and we have to go out to see it and it's not very safe. I go to work at well, I go to the gym first, so I leave pretty like at 4:35 a.m. and it's really hard to see as it is, and so cars blocking, so I'm looking forward to implementing that. I know it's just a warning until January 1st, but yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, okay.
Mayor?
Yeah,
Mayor?
yeah, no, thank you. I think for me, just the same. I mean, I know that there's a lot of other streets. I know you identified some, but I think the parking obstruction, we're seeing it more and more. And I know I made comments in terms of Gavilan and just in terms of some of the big rigs, big semis that are there. And obviously there's a lot of different types of visibility issues with that. So I look forward to getting more information and that Tamsi will come back, right, to provide different alternatives that the city can review as well. So that way we can start looking at what's feasible.
Thank you. My final comments, I do have a couple of them. I really am a supporter of AB 413. I think it'll be great, just for safety, to have our streets safer, especially the daylighting. I think, for me, I always worry about children, maybe because I'm a mother. My children are almost adults, all three of them now, but I think for smaller children, sometimes when, you know, a car is blocking them, you don't see them running into the street, or a dog, you know, pets, since they're smaller. And also I think about, you know, those residents that we have that are on wheelchairs, and so they are a little bit lower on the floor, and so you can't always see them when there's an obstruction there. So I'm definitely looking forward to this and to the positive safety impacts it's gonna have. Also, when it comes to enforcement, I think my final comment is on enforcement, and I do think that it's not fair to our community to enforce something that they're not aware of. So with that being said, I would like to see you know, some outreach done to our community, whether it's working with our community engagement department or working with our police department. I know you guys all work together awesome. As was brought up today, and I think that this is the perfect project for everybody to work together, so that our community is aware of this, and it is something that's positive for them, you know, in the long run. So I think that they will take you know, good to it, and they will appreciate it. So thank you.
Definitely.
Yes, I think, did you have anything? No, okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we are definitely gonna keep an eye on this. Yeah.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Leo, for joining us.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I jumped the gun earlier, but now here we are on consent calendar. So before we get into consent calendar, is there anyone from the public who would like to pull an item on the consent agenda? Okay, I don't see anyone here on the chamber. Let's take it out to Zoom. Okay, we have none on Zoom, so we will bring it back to our council. Is there anyone on the council that would like to pull or comment on the item?
Yes, I'd like to pull C7.
Okay, do we have anyone else?
I just want to make a comment also on C7.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to pass C1 through 6 and 8 and 9, if nobody has any more.
Okay, sure. So we have a motion on the floor.
Second motion.
Okay, thank you. So that was. So who got the second? I heard Fernando. Okay, so
Yeah,
Fernando Cabrera, council member.
yeah, I want to make sure that I'm heard as well. I think I had seconded as well. So just want to make sure, are you guys clear? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes. I think you seconded
Second.
at the same time.
You seconded the second.
All right.
Okay, so
Let's vote.
do we do a vote or do we go to?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Vote on the motion. in a
Roll
second.
call, right?
Yeah, we have to do everything by roll call.
Okay, so we can have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corlejo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, thank you, Darlene. With that said, we will move on to, item C7 and Councilmember, Ansaldo Sanchez, since you pulled it, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. All right. So I just wanted to ask Mike, actually, if it's possible to change the ordinance so that both flags are able to be flown in perpetuity so that we don't have to bring it back every year.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. We could do that. I mean, it was designed specifically so that it would have to be considered on a year-to-year basis, just because of changes on the council and the desire maybe to have different flags at different times and so forth. But if the council so desires, we could bring the item back for future consideration to, make some sort of permanent change so that a specific flag would carry over from year to year.
Great, thank you. I personally would feel that both flags should be flown without having to come back every year. And I say that because I want to ensure that we consider our prisoners of war. And then I know that other cities like Salinas do that in perpetuity now. And I know that I have a small amount of time, but I just want to read something that I think is very important in regards to this. So I wanted to talk about why we celebrate Pride Month. It is to recognize the LGBTQ+ community that often face discrimination for simply being themselves. In 2024, this year, at least 12 transgender and gender expressive people have been murdered, and this includes Marcos Lugo, aka Kitty Monroe, Righteous TK Chevy Hill, Diamond Brigman, Alex Taylor Franco, Marixis Medina, Emma Garcia, Legion Billions Arnold, River Nevaeh Goddard, Andrea Doria Dos Passos, Sasha Williams, Star Brown, and Keita B. 73% of these victims were people of color, 18% were Black trans women, 43% were killed by someone they know, and 27% were misgendered or dead named in press. And I just wanted to say, as somebody that is openly LGBTQ+ representing the city, why this is important to not only myself, but to a lot of members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor Velazquez, I believe you also wanted to comment?
yes, thank you. Yeah, and I was a little confused about it coming back. Mike, I was on the subcommittee last year that looked to put together this flag policy. And my understanding, I know we wanted to raise a pride flag. As part of that, we didn't have any policies for raising the flag. So we formed a subcommittee, former council member Jimenez and myself. We took a look at different samples. And so my understanding was, in terms of the POW MIA flag, that the flag policy lists the dates of when we want those individual flags to be flown. So I thought it was very specific in terms of here are, I already identified timeframes, dates, when this can happen with my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding that was approved by the council for those dates to have those flags flown, and for it not to come back to the council. I know at that time we didn't consider the pride flag. I know we had to institute a flag policy in order to be able to fly the pride flag, but if we can include it as part of that, I'm in agreement to be able to do that. But I just want clarification, because I thought the dates, especially some of the flags that we've identified and the dates that are specific to the policy, were already approved and we didn't need to come back for approval every time.
We'll look into that. I know for sure the pride flag was not one of those that is, on an ongoing basis that was approved, and that the policy is specifically structured so that every year there has to be consideration, and every year a council member has to bring up the idea that they want to have a particular flag displayed and so forth. So the policy sets forth, that was purposely done, but we can definitely make a change. You may be right on the issue of the POW flag, and if that's the case, then we will make note of that. But I'm not aware of any specific action that was taken last year with respect to that particular flag.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I think the recollection was that other ceremonial flags, right, would come back for approval, but what was in the flag policy would be approved without it having to come back every time to council. So if we can just make sure and take a note of that, I would appreciate it.
And I'm so sorry, through the chair, I forgot a question. So. Yeah, so I just wanted, I think, one of the days for the POW flag is during Pride Month, and I just want to make sure that we're able to fly both at the same time, and that's, we don't fly one over the other.
Through the chair, I was wondering if this was the policy, or what was it, when they came up with it, is there a policy stated in which the ceremony flags should be requested? Or I got a little confused with what you were saying about the question, that mayor's question.
Yeah, so the flag policy identifies those flags that are specifically authorized to be flown on an ongoing regular basis, and then has provisions that allow for ceremonial flags to be, the issue of raising the ceremonial flag to be brought up by a council member and then considered by the council as a whole.
So now, considering what Fernando was asking, then that means that we will have to bring this back to make a proposition, to make a motion, to create a resolution.
No, the item that's on your agenda tonight actually is approval of those two flags.
Those two
for
flags.
display this year. Yeah.
No, what I mean is if.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity,
Yeah,
we will have to bring it back
that
and, okay.
Correct, to make a change to the actual policy.
All right.
Thank you. So just to clarify then, we do have to take action today as the, one of the flags, I believe, the third week of May is when we are set to raise it. So we do have to take action today, right? It's not something that we could bring back.
I think that both of them require action this evening, correct?
Okay, all right. So, if we're all, set, is there someone who would like to help me out by making a motion?
Yeah, I'll motion to pass C-7.
Okay, thank you.
Second,
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. If we could please, get a,
Through the chair, just for clarification, was this also including the request to bring this item back? To have
That
that?
would actually be appropriate for the future items on the agenda, so they could be raised.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
that's what I was gonna suggest as well. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, but I'm sorry, Chair, I want to make sure too that especially on the POW MIA flag, because I know that was already included in the flag policy. So can we just verify that doesn't need to come back because it's already identified in the flag policy? I mean, I'm in support, but I just want to make sure we're not approving something that's already been approved for the flag policy.
Well, yeah, this is sort of belt and suspenders because when this staff report was prepared by whomever prepared it, I don't know if it was it Megan or whomever, there was a belief that we needed to have approval for the POW flag. So in order to make sure that flag gets flown this year, both resolutions need to be adopted. And when we bring back, which I'm assuming we will, the policy, we'll confirm one way or another whether or not this action is actually necessary this evening. But if there's no harm, no foul, if you go ahead and adopt the resolution. In fact, it guarantees the ability of the flag to be flown without having to wait until a subsequent date.
Thank you. So we do have, a motion on the floor, and we will bring it up, on under future agenda items as was recommended. So we could, get that, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Clavijo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. So, both resolutions, pass. And that is resolution number 6091 and 6092. Thank you. So we will move on to our public hearings. We do have 2 public hearings today. The first, public hearing that we have is to consider introduction, waiver of reading, and first reading by title only of ordinance number 769, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Soledad establishing a new truck route pursuant to chapter 10.62, truck routes of title 10, vehicles and traffic of the Soledad Municipal Code. So we could please have city engineer Leon Gomez, come to do his staff report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening again, everybody.
Good
Tonight, you're gonna have to get used to seeing me up here tonight, okay? That's what's gonna happen. Well, before you have, ordinance 769, I'm sorry, establishing a new truck route pursuant to chapter 10.62 of title 10. So, this is probably at least the 3rd time that we're presenting this item, to you all. We've done a couple presentations before. And since that time, we've done a thorough evaluation of the current truck route versus the old truck route. As you may recall, in August of 22, the council adopted previous ordinance number 745, which established the current truck route. And then based on a number of concerns expressed by, again, police department staff, public works, fire department, and the community, we undertook an evaluation of the current truck route versus the old truck route. And as we presented, I think at the last council meeting a few months ago, several items were evaluated, and across all 6 criteria, the old truck route was much better than the currently used truck route. Since that time, in order to respond to council's concerns about public outreach, we've also had a stakeholder meeting with the truck drivers and some of the business owners. We had a public presentation, I think April 10th, if I recall correctly, at the Soledad Community Center, in which we covered a number of items, but we also covered the truck route update and let everybody know that we were going back to the old truck route. So the action again before you tonight is to do that. And I think as far as I've been able to tell so far, a lot of people are in agreement that the old truck route is a better way to go. So that concludes the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that, Leon. I was just gonna say the grass is not always greener on the other side, as we all found out, but it's definitely our duty to do our due diligence. So thank you all for that. So do we open the public hearing?
Yep.
Okay,
mhm.
or council comments? No.
No.
Okay, thank you. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and officially open the public hearing at 7:44. Do I have to?
Yes, you bang that gavel.
It wasn't my doctor getting my knees. Okay, so our public hearing is officially open. Do we have any comments from our public here at the chamber? No, okay, that is also movement out there. Okay, do we have anybody out on Zoom?
There are none.
Okay, with there being none, I will bring it back to council for council questions, and we will start with Councilmember Ansaldo Sanchez.
Can you come back to me, actually?
Sure can.
Thank you. Oh, that's.
So, we will close the public hearing since there was no comments at 7:45. Okay, So we will move on to Councilmember Cabrera for council comments.
Just have one comment, in part of the review and analysis says, present the schools, there are fewer schools along all track route, but it's the same as 3 schools.
For me,
That there are 3 schools in both. Right now, I thought that it was passing through Maine, but now it's not passing through Maine. So that was I just realized that it was,
okay,
is fewer for the newer. Because the new truck route goes through San Vicente and Gavilan.
Gavilan and Orchard, yeah.
But
So-
no, that's the old. The new one goes,
The
High
current,
school.
I know that even
The
for me, it
current
was hard to keep them, so the one that's in place right now, the current truck
the
route.
current truck passes through, first through Harnell, then close to Jack Francione, then the high school, right?
Mhm.
Yes, so there's 3 and the other one is only two schools, San Vicente and Gavilan.
Exactly, but there's also safety measures, so part of our presentation was the islands and the controls and the intersections that are out there. Make that route a little bit safer, where the Metz Road and Gavilan and San Vicente
Well-
are.
My comment is that it says that there are few schools along the old track.
Mhm.
And what I meant is that there are fewer in the new truck route.
Correct.
Yeah. Just as a correction,
Okay,
right?
sure. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Cabrera. We will take it out to Mayor Velazquez.
Yeah, thank you. I just have one question, and my comment is, I know that, when we changed the truck route just for historical purposes, there was a lot of concerns in regards to that change that was being made, and I know that the council at that time asked for that to be a pilot kind of decision, and then to come back after 6 months to evaluate that, because there was a lot of anxiety in terms of changing the truck route to the existing truck route that we have. So I'm glad that we're going back out to the old truck route. I just have a question. One is, when you met on April 10th with with different representatives or different individuals, what were some of the comments? And then a comment is just, as we were going into the new truck route, if we can make sure that there's visible signage throughout the truck route that states this is the updated or final truck route, and then also some speed. I don't know, in terms of the reduction of speed or what we can do with that, Leon, only because I know we've had incidents already in the past, right, where the trucks are coming too fast, especially on that roundabout, and making sure that there is that, I don't know if it's additional signage or what's needed, but making sure that we address that as well.
Okay, so a couple of responses, Ms. Mayor. So part of the establishment going back to the old truck route includes an evaluation of all the signage along the route to make sure, one, it's compliant with MUTCD California guidelines, and then making sure that they're also at the appropriate locations. So, if you have a couple of blocks without a sign that says truck route, truck drivers, if they're new to the community, may turn left or may turn right when they're not supposed to. So one of the evaluation criteria was, where are the signs placed, and they need to be at critical decision-making points so that truck drivers know that they're on the route, they feel secure that they're on the route, and they're on the correct route. So that'll be one there. And then with respect to the public outreach meeting, generally speaking, a lot of the community members were, concerned with the truck parking on Orchard Lane, also the vehicle turning movements up at, so the current truck route right now at the intersection of Gavilan and San Vicente, there's issues when trucks are turning with vehicles that are in the left-hand turning lane trying to get back down onto West. And at that location, there was some concerns expressed there. Also, I think with the turning movements, if I remember correctly, Ms. Mayor, at Orchard Lane and Metz Road, if you recall, last year, I think, or the former city engineer, along with the consultant at the time, had identified at least 2 locations where additional intersection controls, modifications, had to be made to make those turning movements safer. And those are the same locations that the community members were expressing concerns with. So that seems to back up that concern.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I did have one question. I know the mayor, spoke about signage, having clear signage and signage, throughout. I want to say, I do recall you guys bringing us that information. The last time you came, gave us like a real comprehensive, report. I guess my question is, are we on any, doing outreach on any like national trucker applications, trucker apps on phones?
You know, we've asked Leo or On-Call TE to look into that. to
Yeah.
See how we go about updating the information, because a lot of the truck drivers will immediately, use the apps or whatnot.
Yeah.
Find what the truck route is. So he's looking into how we can do that, but quite frankly, a lot of the truck drivers that are used to the old route and like the old route.
There's.
Sometimes they use it.
Yes, I see it. Yeah, okay. And then also, I was going to suggest, a lot of times I think when we think about truckers, we think about out-of-state truckers or out of our city truckers, but we do also have a lot of local truckers that, that live here. So it is important to also, maybe post on our social media or do some kind of, not advertisement, like outreach to our Soledad and local residents that are truckers, and let them know as well. Okay, I will go ahead and we will do one more round of final comments. So Councilmember Gonzalo Sanchez, please.
Yeah, so, mine was a question, 'cause I wanted it to come back to me, so I'll ask it now, but this is just for me, a clarification. So since we're moving away from the whatever truck route it is that goes to Orchard Lane, does that mean now that they can't park there because they're not supposed to be up there? Well, that's good. Got a lot of complaints, mainly from my family, exhaust. Right? And they're like, what's the? I'm like, email me, please. I don't know. It's my mom's day, not my Ask Fernando questions day. All right, that was my only question, and I don't mind.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera.
I have two comments. The first one is that even though that I see that and I follow a couple of trucks through the new route, but I'm still concerned about the roundabout. Are they gonna be able to turn left despite the size of the?
So again, part of the evaluation, when we compared the old versus the new, or the current versus the new truck route, is again, we had Leo do what's called truck turning templates, and they were applied on the roundabout. Geometrically, the roundabout works, but barely. The
Yeah.
truck driver has to get it just right to not jump the curb or damage the curb or anything like that. So yes, it can be improved by some minor improvements, and we're having Leo look at that.
Okay.
But the roundabout does work. It's just, it's very tight, and there's almost no room for forgiveness. So that's the constraint with it. It does work, it's just.
Because I saw two. The first one just went straight and almost into it, and the other one had to stop and then go kind of twist a little bit and did that turnaround. My other concern is the street. Now that you're gonna change it, that we're gonna change the route, and that street is really bad. It's under really bad conditions. So are we looking into those conditions to this new route in 4 or 5 years or less?
Well, that should be a criteria within our pavement management program and the overall status, and when we do the appropriate maintenance or rehabilitation for those segments of roadway. But yes, it will be an impact. So, anytime a truck travels down a particular segment of street, the impact versus regular normal vehicles is significantly more. So it is something to consider.
Okay.
Thank you. Mayor Velasquez? Final
Yeah,
comments?
thank you. Just for me, I have a comment on the database. I know we had a database before because we did ask for the outreach to be done to some of our local truck drivers, especially a lot of our local companies, because we know a lot of that is used seasonally, especially with a lot of the wineries and the trucks that go through that route. So I thought we had a database, Leon, if you can look at that, because I know we already had a list of different companies, local companies, that we did some outreach to them when we were doing this initial study of the truck route. And then just, yeah, I mean, and I'll just comment also in regards to Orchard Lane. I live up in that area and I know that there's been a lot of concerns with all of the truck drivers that are parked there and it's in the weekend is really bad. So it's really congested. I know I've already let the city staff know, but it has been concerning, especially as we're working to really implement different strategic efforts to beautify our city and just looking at whether that's even allowed or not.
Okay, regarding the database, we can certainly follow up with Mr. Mayor. I know that for the stakeholder meeting, we reached out to Jesus and community engagement. And we had a pretty good show, I think, for the second.
We do have, so through the chair, we have that database and it was created with Jesus and staff to identify a number of those trucking companies. So we did do that outreach. And they're very favorable to returning to the old. It was universal. There was no question about that from those. I did also want to mention that the roundabout curb is mountable, is my understanding. So, it is sort of designed to understand that there will be people who clip the edge.
So on that point though, interesting that we, from the second stakeholder meeting with the truck drivers, was a lot of them expressed, because I think it's colored concrete, isn't it?
Yeah.
The mountable. So when they approach the roundabout, the difference in the color from the pavement makes them, one, think they can't mount it. And then two, they were worried that if they do mount it and damage it, that they would be responsible for repairs.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of the educational component. It's okay to mount it. That's what it's designed for. It's got the compressive strength ability to withstand the heavier truckloads, but it's also perception that because of the color difference and potential damage.
Painted in other people's, make sure they understand.
Potentially, or just reaching out to them and letting them know that it's okay to do it if you need to get through there, but. That was the concerns.
Thank you, so
And then just one last thing, I just wanted to answer the three questions. I think there was a question about enforcement. And yes, it's been a challenge with the new route in terms of enforcement because it puts it on Orchard. With going back to the old route will allow us to now enforce Orchard, so.
Thank you. My final comments, I will keep them brief. Just again, wanted to thank you. I do recall a lot of the information that was presented during the last report, and I did just want to make the public aware. I know I have been receiving complaints. I think we probably all have those of us that have been here for a while when it comes to the truck route, regardless of whether it was the old route or the new route. I think we are a small city in some sense, and we do have a lot of elementary schools stretched all over. So I feel like no matter which route we chose, it was going to pass, by our elementary schools, our regular schools, our parks, but that is something that was surveyed, that we did look at. And so I just want those that are out there in the public that are concerned about the safety of our children to know that that was taken into account. So those are my final comments. I thank everyone, my colleagues, and thank you also, Megan, for chiming in when needed. And thank you for the report. I think that's all I have on that public hearing. So thank you, Leon. I appreciate your time and your effort. We also need now to ask for a motion from our council.
And that would be a motion to introduce, waive reading and read by title only.
Thank you.
So move.
Thank you. The Councilmember Cabrera, do we have a second? I will second.
Okay.
Okay, so, if we could please get a roll call vote?
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corlejo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Gonzalez.
Aye.
Thank you. So,
Through the chair, if I could just, real quick, circle back to item C7, because I was able to pull up a copy of the policy on flags and the history as well. And the mayor is correct. It's no wonder, Mayor, that you, have a good recall on it because you were on that ad hoc subcommittee. And so the way that the existing policy reads now, it allows the POW MIA flag to be displayed on specific dates. I think that's referenced in the staff report. As adopted, the resolution, I think, would allow the POW MIA flag now to be hung for a longer period of time, for the entire month of June. So that's the action that the council took this evening.
okay.
Okay.
Point of clarification or information, POW flag for the whole month of June, or?
There were two resolutions that were adopted, right? One was for POW and one was for the Pride. And both of them, there's an error actually in the resolutions that are in the packet, but the one on for the POW flag seems to carry the same language for display from June 1st through June 30th. And that's a different time period for the display of the flag than is currently referenced in the existing policy, which has basically for the month of June, it was just to be displayed on Flag Day.
Just point of correction, I think that actually the POW MIA flag in the reso, I don't know if something got posted in error, but it actually lists out the specific dates. Not all of June.
Well, the way that it reads now is, see that was there a corrected version of the resolution prepared? Because right now it has the language for the Pride flag and it says for display
Yeah,
from June 1st to
I
June 30th.
think that might have been an incorrect version, but it was corrected and this is the,
Corrected where?
on the agenda. I'm pulling off the,
I sent an email out regarding
Right.
to both of you.
I never received that. So this is the agenda that we prints out.
no, this one is,
No, this is the agenda that I printed out yesterday, and this is the resolution that was in that agenda.
I had to pull out that particular resolution because it was false. It was wrong.
Okay, so just so that we're clear, the resolution then that was before the council and that was approved by the council this evening is just for the display of the POW MIA flag on a specific date.
Various specific dates
Yeah.
that are noted on their Flag Day, the third week in May.
so that- Yeah, okay,
That's
so
in
then
the
that sounds to me
policy.
as if it was a repetitive action, that basically that's already contained within the policy and did not need to be done. So no harm, no foul again, because all we're doing is reiterating what was in the policy, but that resolution doesn't need to do anything else, so.
So thank you for that clarification, Mike. So moving forward, next year, we will not have to bring this back to council, is that correct?
Unless somebody wants to display it for a longer period of time, but yeah, right now,
If there's no changes.
right now, and this was done back in 2022 at the request of the ad hoc committee to add that language specifically to the policy to have the POW MIA flag displayed on, I think there's 6 different dates that it's to be displayed on, so.
Thank you for that. So with that said, we will move on to our next public hearing, and this is public hearing number 2. And it is to consider waiver of reading, adoption, and read by title only an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Soledad establishing and implementing by district elections. And so Mike, if you could please, Mike is our city attorney, if you could please provide us with a staff report.
Sure. So we had a very long and comprehensive staff report on this matter at the prior meeting. And you have a written staff report that also details quite a bit of the history. I'm not going to go through all that detail again. Basically, this is a culmination of work that the council commenced in 2022 on the transition from at-large to by-district elections in the city. From the date of 2022, the council has been engaged in a number of actions, including a series of public hearings on districting, the formation of an advisory committee, that then made some recommendations to the city council. We also held a number of map workshops so that people could understand the districting process. And we actually adopted, the council actually adopted a ordinance establishing a 5-district voting system in the city, which then was the subject of a referendum. So on May 1st, 2024, the council conducted a 6th notice public hearing on districting. The purpose was to review the districting process once again and to reaffirm the council's previous choice of the preferred 4-district TAN map. After soliciting public comment, the council introduced, waived reading, and read by title only ordinance number 768, establishing and implementing 5-district elections on the basis of the TAN map. Ordinance number 768 is before the council this evening for a public hearing, a notice public hearing, council discussion, and then if desire, waiver of reading, adoption, and reading by title only. If approved, ordinance number 78 would establish an election sequencing plan whereby the mayor and 2 council members would be up for election every 2 years. No current council member's term is to be disturbed by the new districting process. And this will be accomplished by phasing the conversion the district elections over the course of 2 election cycles, the first being in 2024, if this ordinance is adopted this evening, for districts 3 and 4, and then the next 2 in 2026 for districts 1 and 2. The mayor's term and sequencing remains the same. The mayor would continue to be voted at large, and the mayor's term would be 2 years. So the mayor would be elected at each of the election cycles from this point forward, as is the case now. If the council adopts the ordinance tonight, we will transmit a copy of the ordinance to the elections department so that by-districting voting would commence in Soledad at the November 2024 election. I am happy to entertain any questions, but we should go ahead and open the public hearing, and we may get some additional comments and questions then. Close the public hearing, and then the council can debate and discuss what action, if any, they want to take.
Thank you, Mike. So we will go ahead, I will go ahead and open the public hearing at 8:07. Do we have anyone that is in the chambers from the public who wishes to make a public comment? Okay, seeing that there are none, we will take it out to Zoom.
There are none.
Thank you, Stephen. So seeing that there are no public comments, or public hearing comments, I apologize. I will go ahead and close, the public hearing at 8:07. And I will now take it to the council to, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding the public hearing, Councilmember Ansaldo Sanchez.
Yeah, I think it's been long enough, and I can't wait to end this conversation.
Thank
You and
you.
me both.
Councilmember Cabrera,
No comments.
thank you. Mayor Velasquez,
No comments. I just moved to consider the can I just make a motion to consider the waiver of reading, adoption, and read by title only? The
yes,
ordinance
please do so.
of the City
Second.
of Soledad, establishing and implementing by district elections. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I said that, sorry. Jump it down.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. If we could get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corralejo,
Yes,
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez.
Aye.
thank you. So do I say ordinance 768 passes? Okay, so with that, ordinance number 768 passes. We will now go to our next agenda item, which is our business item. And so the first item that we have is resolution number 6081, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Soledad approving a contract for construction services with Monterey Peninsula Engineering in an amount of $3,729,757 plus a 5% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $3,916,245 for the Front Street Maintenance Project and authorizing the city manager to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Soledad. So we will start with our staff report. And we have again, our city engineer, Leon Gomez.
I look different.
Wait, it has the wrong name. My notes have the wrong name. I apologize.
That's my fault. I apologize.
I will go ahead and allow you to introduce yourself. Thank you. I'm sorry for that.
Please, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm Alex Ramos, Assistant Engineer. Tonight's item is for, as you mentioned, Front Street Maintenance Project. The maintenance project has been a project long in the pipeline. It's finally here. And since then, it's evolved quite a bit. It's not only a simple maintenance project that identifies and alleviates the issues associated with the pavement, sidewalks, curb accessibility, but it also, as mentioned earlier in today's council meeting, it really addresses safety issues with visibility, hence the vision triangles and the off-stop warrants in the NAB 413. This project is really exciting. I'm really excited to see it come to fruition. This project is something that will not only have those elements, but staff's also considering just a whole refresh. The landscape refresh is being entertained. Our asphalt impressions, string lighting, sidewalk amenities, and all those things that will be brought via change orders with council approval. But with that being said, staff formally prepared and advertised this project through funded bids from qualified individuals or firms. We put this out on March 22nd, 2024, with a bid close date of April 24th, 2024. The city received 4 bids as shown in the table here, where MP came way below the engineer's estimate, which is actually really refreshing because we've seen city projects coming way over. But with that being said, staff really recommends the approval of this contract with MP for the construction services for the total amount not to exceed that 3.9 million that you see here. And the city's standard contract will be used. And I'm happy to entertain any questions regarding this item.
Thank you, Alex. I know who you are. Thank you. So, before we bring it to the council, I want to go ahead and allow our public, those that are in the chambers, as well as those that are on Zoom, to be able to give a public comment first. So do we have anyone who is in the chambers who would like to make a comment? Okay, we have none. We will go out to Zoom.
There are none.
Okay, seeing that there are none, we will bring it back to the council. So first we will go ahead and bring up questions first. So Councilmember Antonio Sanchez, if you have any questions for Alex?
No questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera?
No, we went through this a couple of times. So.
Yep.
Yes, we sure have. Thank you. Mayor Velasquez, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. I have no questions as well. So, our second and final, round, if we, any final comments?
I'm really glad that it came under budget and hopefully the what is that, the difference we can use to further make our downtown look great. Thank you.
It's the goal.
Second that.
Mayor Velasquez, final comments?
No comments. I just want to thank all of the staff and the team that's been working on this diligently, I know, for quite some time now. So I think we're all looking forward to the renovation and the rehabilitation of that Front Street area. So thank you.
Thank you. I do not have any final comments that do not reflect what has already been said. So thank you for that. So we will go ahead and I will go ahead and bring it back to the council now for council action. We do have to take action on this item. So if there's anyone on the council who would like to make a motion to pass. Okay,
Second.
thank you. Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. If we could get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
I,
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corlejo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, the resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, one moment.
Oh, this business item.
Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead to, our business item number 2. Resolution number 6082, 6083, 6084, 6085, and 6086. Resolutions of the City Council of the City of Soledad approving preliminary annual engineers report and declaring the city's intention to levy and collect annual assessments for various districts for fiscal year 2024, 2025, and setting a time and place for a public hearing. So we will go ahead and receive our staff report from City Engineer D. Rio Leon Gomez. Will the Rio Leon Gomez please stand up?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Maria.
You can hear the report.
Okay.
And with us today is Kuda Wetwicki. Thank you for joining us with DTA, who's been with the city on this project going back a number of years. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'll give a brief introduction, a quick summary, and then Kuda will dive into a little bit of detail, just because I realize that we have some new council members that might be hearing this information for the first or second time. But the city of Soledad has 5 assessment districts formed to levy and collect assessments against the lots or parcels of land within those districts to pay for the costs and expenses of operating, maintaining, and servicing improvements and facilities located within the boundaries of those districts. And those districts were formed at various points in time, 2003, 2006, with an annexation subsequently of Liberty Court in January of 2022. The formation of the various districts was approved by property owners pursuant to a mail ballot at the time. And the assessments, the city has to state its intention to levy assessments on a fiscal year, annual year basis by adoption of a resolution, which is why we're taking the action that we have before you. And in the case of the districts that we are evaluating here in the city of Soledad, there's various annual adjustment rates, either based on CPI or the San Francisco, Oakland, Hayward area, or a static 3% annual adjustment. And those are detailed in the staff report. And at this time, Kuda, I think would like to provide a quick overview of what the assessment district process has been like for the city of Soledad. And before he does, like to let everybody know that DTA has been great to work with, prepared the preliminary engineering reports, which have been reviewed by engineering and public works department staff in preparation for this report. So Kuda, feel free to take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leon. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. My name is Kuda Wetwicki. I'm a managing director with DTA. My firm is the assessment administrator for the city of Soledad, and we've been in this role since 2016, preparing these the assessments for these 5 assessment districts that we are covering this evening. And just to give a bit more color on the assessments are special assessments, as the name implies, that are imposed based on benefit derived by each of the properties. And so they were approved back in 2003 and 2006 at various points in time. And those approvals allowed for maximum assessments to be established at the time, with the allowance for a consumer price index adjustment year over year. However, the process for these assessment districts and imposing the assessment districts requires that every year a budget is developed and an engineer's report is prepared to identify the actual amount necessary to fund any maintenance or costs for that upcoming fiscal year, at which time an assessment is set that is less than the maximum amount that was established under the original assessment. And so this year, the assessments again are set in the same manner. And this meeting would be the intent meeting to initially set a public hearing date and approve the preliminary engineers reports, at which time at the public hearing, the actual final assessments would then be established. And once those are established, DTA would then go ahead and put those assessments on the roll for the upcoming fiscal year 24-25 and would be paid on the tax bill. I'm happy to answer any specific questions you have. And again, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kuda, for that. Okay, so then, sorry, it's the first time I do this part. So then I have to.
Yeah,
Do
so.
I read all this first or no?
Actually, we could have Mike indicate that one, council member, which is council member Cabrera, I've already let him know, is conflicted on 4 of the resolutions and would be requested to leave the room.
Right, so what we have is a situation where a council member who lives within one of the districts or lives within 500 feet of the districts has a conflict because the assessments have a financial impact either directly on them as a homeowner or potentially because of their proximity to the assessment district. So usually when we have a conflict like this, and we've gone through this every year because of the fact that we have a small city and some fairly large assessment districts, where we have to go through this shifting, a change of the guard, basically, where people have to step down and step out of the room while we're voting on things. As you indicated, Councilmember Cabrera actually has a conflict with both the Diamond Ridge Mad and Bad and the Orchard Villas Mad and Bad. And the mayor actually has a conflict with the Diamond Ridge Mad and Bads. So for ease of administration, we, I think, had decided that we were going to have Councilmember Cabrera step out of the room when the council is taking action on the Diamond Ridge and Orchard Villas resolutions. And then by relying on something called the rule of necessity, we're going to bring Mayor Velasquez, who has a conflict back. There's a law that says but for the fact that you would not be able to vote on something because somebody has a conflict, you can pull somebody back for purposes of just voting on the issue discreetly. And so we've had to go through this again every year where we've had people in the back room and bring them back and shift them and so forth. This year, it's fairly straightforward. So if the mayor is so willing to do so, we will designate her as the party that can participate on behalf of the council to vote on the Diamond Ridge Mad and Bad. And this problems this year were compounded a little bit because we also have a vacancy. So it's hard for us to make sure that we have the quorum of 3 to vote on the resolution. So the recommendation is that the council go ahead and entertain the approval of the Diamond Ridge and the Orchard Villa Mad and Bads. And then we can bring back Councilmember Cabrera so that he can participate in the voting on the Rancho San Vicente district.
Okay, thank you for that. So then, do I first have to take it out to the public for comments before we?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. I probably will be needing your guidance too.
Yeah, and the public comment period should be on any of the resolutions for any of the districts that you have before you this evening, not just on an individual resolution by resolution basis. If we want to get out of here by midnight.
Okay, should I read it all when I say that? No.
You don't actually have to read the titles of the resolutions into the record. The resolutions are fine. Ordinances are the only documents that the city adopts that have to have the titles read into the record. So you have this series of 5 resolutions before you. And I think the way we have this set up is the Rancho San Vicente is last. So you just want to go ahead and open the public comment on any of the resolutions that are before the council this evening, then close the public comment section, and then we will go ahead and buzz our way through the resolutions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Mike. Okay, so then, with that said, and without further ado, we will go ahead and open for public comment. So first, do we have anyone in the chambers who would like to give a public comment? Please keep in mind that your comment is limited to 3 minutes. We ask that you please be brief and to the point. And this is would be a public comment on any of the items.
Any of the resolutions?
Any of
before
the
council?
resolutions that are before the council, right now, for item number 2. So do we have anyone from the public in the chambers? No? Do we have anyone out on Zoom?
There are none.
Okay, being that, there are none, we will go ahead and, close the public comment portion. And I will bring it back to, council for council, questions, if anyone has any questions, and I will start with Councilmember Ansaldo Sanchez.
No questions.
No questions, Mayor Velasquez?
Yeah, I know we go through this every time, but could I have just some clarifications? And I know for some of the districts, obviously, if you look at the numbers for the maximum allowance, there's 2 of those that are really significant from fiscal year 24, from the 23-24 to the 24-25, which is the Miravalle Orchard Landscaping. So that goes from 610, just to make sure that our public understands that it goes from 610 to 1,360, right, for that year of assessments. And then also the other one that I think is significant as well is the Diamond Ridge Assessment Phase 1, which goes from 254 to 487. That's the proposed, correct? Just so I want to make sure that the public understands that.
No, Mayor,
That's-
I think actually that's the column that you're reading from is the maximum assessment allowable for the Mirabelle Orchard Landscaping District. So the maximum that could be assessed is 1,360, but for fiscal year 24-25, the recommendation is to assess $610.57. And likewise for the other one that you referenced, I think it was it?
Oh, got it. I saw the phase
Yeah.
1 for the Diamond Ridge. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that
Sure.
clarification. So it's not
Yeah.
that significant. Okay. I mean, it's still raising, but it's not as significant as I thought. Thank you.
Correct.
And actually, just because we discussed it before, could you elaborate on why we do that process? The difference between the maximum versus what your recommendation is?
Right, absolutely. So the maximum allowable is set when the assessment district is created. And because we have a CPI adjustment built into the maximum allowable assessment every single year. So from the time these were approved back in 2003, we've been applying a CPI adjustment to the maximum allowable assessment. And so that number has gone up over the last 20 years by the CPI, depending on which assessment, which MAD or BAD it is. Now, on an annual basis, we're looking at an actual budget and evaluating what services are needed in that year. And so to the extent the maximum allowable assessment is not required, in other words, you don't need to impose the full assessment, you would only impose an amount that's less than that assessment to fund the maintenance. So really on an annual basis, we're evaluating what services are needed, and we're capped at the maximum assessment, but we would only impose what's needed for that year.
Okay, I just wanted to thank you, Kuda, for that clarification to our public. It is very important, especially during these difficult financial times that many are experiencing. So thank you for that again. Okay, so besides the comments that I gave right now, I do not have any questions. I think that information was pretty thorough, so thank you both for that. We will do a final round of final comments for our city council. So Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo, do you have any final comments?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Ana Velasquez?
No comments, thank you.
Okay, and I have none as well. I think it's pretty straightforward. So now we will bring it back for council action. If I could get a motion, please.
Sure, I'll motion to pass resolution 682, 6082, 6083, 6084, 6085, and
They actually should be broken into groups of 2. So let's do 6082 and 6083.
got it, okay.
Okay,
So I will motion to
thank you.
pass resolutions number 6082 and 6083.
Second,
Okay, so seeing that we have a motion and a second, do we do the roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay, okay, we could get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Elena Velazquez,
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Carlijo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera, step down, and Councilmember Fernando Gonzalez Sanchez.
Yes.
I just have a question for clarification purposes for Mike. So, being that Councilmember Cabrera obviously had to step out, how will that be reflected in our minutes? Will it say abstain or?
I'm just trying to remember when yes, it'll say abstain,
Okay,
because he has a cause for, not participating in the vote.
okay, thank you. So with that, resolutions number 6082 and 6083 pass. I will move on to resolutions number 6084 and 6085, if I can get a motion. Please.
I'll motion again. I motion to pass resolution 6084 and 6085.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, if we could please have a roll call vote.
Mayor Elena Velazquez,
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Carlijo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera, Councilmember Fernando Gonzalez Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. So with that, resolutions number 6084 and 6085 pass. I will move on to resolution number 6086, which is our last resolution.
We need to-
I'll do bring that.
Mhm.
We will wait for Councilmember Cabrera to join us.
You posted.
Okay, hope he enjoyed his nice little break. So with that said, if I could please get, a motion for resolution number 6086, please.
I'll motion to pass resolution 6086.
Second,
Thank you. Who's second?
Mayor.
Okay, Mayor Velazquez. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, if I could get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Elena Velazquez,
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Carlijo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Gonzalez Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. So resolution 6086 passes. And so now we move on to Rancho San Vicente.
Oh, we did pass that one.
We did,
Yeah.
oh, that's when he walked in.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're now
awesome.
in item.
We are so fast today. Okay, so now it is item number 3.
Yep.
Okay, I did want to, before we go, I do want to go ahead and thank, Leon and also thank, Kuda for their help and their information. Thank you. So now we move on to item number 3. Resolution number 6087, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Soledad approving a contract for construction services with Monterey Peninsula Engineering in the amount of $359,000 plus 5% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $376,950 for the Soledad Fire Department aerial apparatus bay project and authorizing the city manager to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Soledad. And now we will go on to our staff report with Don Wilcox, our Public Works Director. Hi, Don, again.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Don Wilcox, Public Works Director, City of Soledad, again, here to present the apparatus bay building only portion of the fire department's addition of a ladder truck and housing board. I'll go through a brief presentation, see if Chief Lukenbach has anything to add, then we'll be happy to answer any questions. So in 2022, the city received a a $2 million earmark through the state of California, sponsored by Senator Caballero, to purchase a new fire engine with a ladder attachment. On January 11th, 2023, the council approved the purchase of that fire truck or ladder truck with 18 to 24 month delivery time. So we got through the pleasant experience of receiving the funding and picking out a fire truck and ordering it. And then we realized we needed a garage for it. You can't leave a fire truck out. So we began designing the apparatus bay, which is kind of unique because it's 105 foot long and has a big ladder on it. So it has to be tall and long. So anyway, we hired ISA architects to design the building and the site improvements required for the building. Fire truck apparatus bay is a little bit specialized, or quite a bit specialized. It needs to be tall, long, have an exhaust system recovery. And then for stormwater, when they wash it, it has to have a special stormwater drain. And seems like there's a third component. But anyway, we got it designed. We're not done with the site furnishings. That's taken a little bit longer to make sure that the driveway through the police department and into the building can support a large ladder truck, moving some fencing around, things like that. So the site improvements are still under design, but we did land on a building the size. And so the building and the foundations are typically bid out separately or can be separated from the rest of the project. So since we plan on having that fire truck at the end of this year, went ahead and bid out the building and the foundation alone and received 4 bids, I think, with MPE being the lowest at $359,000. We're still tidying up the site improvements, which we haven't bid out, but we're in the process of doing that. As far as the funding component, we received $2 million for the earmark from Senator Caballero's office. And the fire truck was $1,715,188, which leaves roughly $284,000 to build the apparatus bay, which to build the apparatus bay in the site furnishings. The apparatus bay alone is $359,000, so council set aside $900,000 ARPA money to fully fund the apparatus bay building and the estimated $758,000 worth of site improvements. So having said all that, staff fully recommends that that council authorize us to purchase the building and get it coming, and then we'll bring the site improvements back as a separate item when that design and bidding is complete. And ask Jason for anything additional. Then be happy to answer any questions.
He's supporting you from afar. Okay, thank you, Don. I appreciate the staff report. So before we bring it to council, we will go out to our public. If there's anyone in the chambers, I would like to give a public comment. Please keep in mind that public comments are limited to 3 minutes. So we ask that you please be brief and to the point. Anyone in the chambers? No? Okay, do we have anyone on Zoom joining us that wants to give a comment?
There are none.
Okay, seeing that there are none, we will bring it back to the council. We will first entertain council questions, and I will start with Council Member Ansaldo Sanchez.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Council Member Cabrera?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Ana Velasquez?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. I as well have no questions. This item has been brought to council a few times, and the report was very thorough. We will go into final comments. Council Member Ansaldo Sanchez?
I'm excited for this fire truck and ladder. Let's get it done.
Thank you.
Yeah, me too, and I can imagine, man, that's gonna be something very powerful for our city and our cities around us.
Economic development tool as well.
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Mayor Ana Velasquez, final comments?
Yeah, no, I'm also looking forward to it. So thank you to the staff for moving this project forward. I know Chief Luckenbach has been looking forward to this as I have. So also again, just acknowledging and thanking Senator Caballero for making this possible to really address, the housing densities, public safety. And so looking forward to the arrival of our fire truck pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you. My final comments are gonna be very, very similar to my colleagues. I am also excited to see this, completed and have the bay and have the fire engine and see the impact that it's gonna have on so many different aspects, on housing, on the economic development department as well. And I think also it's gonna, I'm really thinking it's gonna help out our relationship with our neighboring cities, because I know that they will be borrowing it from us, right? So we definitely want to be a neighborly when it comes to that. And then finally, I just want to thank the Senator, Ana Caballero, for giving us this gift. It is, it really just shows the investment that she's making in our city. So those are my final comments. And with that said, I will go ahead. Chief, are you sure you don't want to say anything?
I'll just.
It just feels so weird. I can see you from the
No.
side of my.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to say, we look forward to it. It's been great working with staff to get this thing going. We have checked with the manufacturer, and the ladder truck is still on pace for this time frame. So we look forward to it. It's been a good journey to kind of get this here, and the fire department's extremely excited to move forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that said, we will go ahead and bring it back to the council for a motion. If we could get a motion for resolution number 6087.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, council member. Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera made the motion and Mayor Velasquez seconded it. So if we could get a roll call, please. Roll call vote.
Mayor Ana Velasquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Ferrejo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Caballero,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Anselmo Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. So I am so excited to see this moving forward. I wanted to thank again our amazing Public Works Director, Don Wilcox, for that staff report, as well as thanking the chief for his work. So we will go ahead and move on to item number 4.
Thank you.
Thank you. So business item number 4 is resolution number 6089, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Soledad approving a contract for construction services with Plummer Built Inc. in an amount of $575,000 plus a 5% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $603,750 for the water reclamation facility metal building project, and authorizing the city manager to exceed said contract on behalf of the City of Soledad. And with that, we have Alex here to give us the staff report. Alex, take it away.
Thank you. And talk about Public Works Week, right? Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Velasquez and City Council. This item is an exciting project that I'd like to just emphasize that I'm happy to be a part of. It's been Public Works Department's longstanding goal to purchase a metal building that was actually supposed to be here as part of the original facility at the WRF. But due to funding, it wasn't created, or it wasn't built, rather. I don't know if you guys have the luxury, or the opportunity rather, to see the big trucks outside. Those are some of the heavy equipment that our staff typically use to do routine maintenance, inspections, cleaning, really kind of upkeep the city's sewer and storm infrastructure. They're very expensive components to do maintenance on, and of course repairs. And with that being said, to really protect the city's most significant investments, not themselves only, but just the infrastructure as well. We really want to urge council to approve this item. But with that being said, we put this project out to bid, formally advertised through Planet Bids for February 29, 2024, with the bid close date of April 4th, 2024. We received 5 bids where Plummer Built actually came in the lowest, well within our engineer's estimate of $575,000. And they were the lowest responsive bidder. And it's really refreshing, once again, to just emphasize, you know, this came in well within range. Other city projects, other cities are struggling with estimates coming in way over. We do have the currently programmed a total amount of 150,000 in this current year. The remaining difference would be covered by the wastewater operations fund, with a projected year-end fund balance of 31.2 million here. But with that being said, I'm happy to entertain any questions regarding this item.
Thank you for that
Mhm.
report. Okay, so, we will go ahead and, take it out to the public. So we have anybody that is with us here in the chambers and wishes to make public comment? Okay, seeing that there are none, we will take it out to Zoom.
There are none.
Okay, none in Zoom as well. I will bring it back to, the council. Councilmember Ansaldo Sanchez, if you have any questions?
So this is why they were brought up to the front for us to look at. I'm just kidding, but they look really cool. No questions.
Thank you, Councilmember
No.
Cabrera.
No questions.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Ana Velazquez?
No
Any
questions.
questions? Thank you, Mayor, and I have no questions, as well. Final comments, Councilmember Ansaldo Sanchez?
No.
Councilmember Cabrera?
Thank you for all the work and for staying late.
I know that comment. Councilmember Ana Velazquez? Councilmember Mayor Ana Velazquez, I apologize.
No comments. I mean, I just want to say thank you to, thank you to the staff, sorry, thank you to the staff for putting this together. I know obviously this is a really critical facility for our city, and so making sure that we continue to look at the maintenance and improving it is critical, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Velazquez. My final thoughts are very similar. Just wanted to thank you, Alex, and thank Dawn and the whole team. You guys are doing some amazing things out there, very innovative and leading South County in many ways. So we definitely appreciate that. And with that said, I will go ahead and bring it back for a motion.
A motion to pass resolution 6089.
Second that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. If we could get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corlejo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez.
Aye.
Thank you. So with that, resolution number 6089 passes. Thank you, and thank you, Alex, Don, and the whole department.
Not done with this yet.
Oh, and he did say that we're going to be, as did Leon. Okay, so we will go ahead and move on to item number 5, business item number 5, resolution number 6079. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Soledad approving a contract for construction services with pavement coating in an amount of $423,865 plus a 5% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $445,058 for the 2024 crack seal project, and authorizing the city manager to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Soledad. And we have Alex here still with us, and he will provide us with a staff report. Thank you, Alex.
Of course, thank you. Once again, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Velazquez, and City Council. Tonight's items, the crack seal project. The city hasn't really done a maintenance project in some time, of course, for limited resources and staff, of course. And we really can't afford to wait another year to, commence doing routine maintenance projects. So crack seal is kind of that interim project from now to when we start implementing the projects detailed in our PMP report. And I just want to emphasize that crack seal is honestly a very simple type of project. You're just adding adhesive to these streets, but it really helps with the city's overall service life. One of the biggest reasons why we see potholes and streets crumbling apart is because of these cracks, water infiltrates, it gets to the road sections, and it starts crumbling from the bottom to the top. But with that being said, we put this out formally to bid, we advertised this project in March 26, 2024. Our bid close date was of April 17, 2024, and the city actually received 4 bids, as shown in the table here, where Paving Koningsco came in at the lowest. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but the engineer's estimate was $545,000, and we got bids in the 400s. So it was fantastic news. We're jumping up and down in the back room there. But with that being said, we have a breakdown of roughly how it's going to be funded. We measure X, of course, but also the applicable streets that are within the assessment districts. And you just want to emphasize these percentages are rough estimates. We won't actually know how it's going to be broken down until we do the project and we have the tickets identifying how much tonnage of crack seal will be actually applied to each street segment. But I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So we will take it out to our public first. If there's anyone in the chambers that wishes to make public comment, please keep in mind that comments are limited to 3 minutes. So we ask that you please be brief and to the point. Do you have anyone in the public here in the chambers that would like to give comments? Seeing that there are none, we will take it out to Zoom.
There are none.
Thank you, Stephen. So we will go ahead and bring it to council. I am gonna change it up a little this time, so we today, 30 minutes up. So we will go ahead and have council questions and comments. I think that, I think that was streamlined.
Yeah,
So Councilmember Anselmo Sanchez.
I thought I wasn't gonna get to go first. Yeah, actually, couple questions. What were the metrics to decide which of the streets we're going to be focused on?
To answer that question, we actually have a consultant, PEI, or Pavement Engineering Inc., that helped us create the PMP Pavement Management Program. And that identified and essentially let us know real time what our average PCI, Pavement Condition Index, is of the whole city streets. And in that report, it identified a lot of key streets that are qualifiable for crack seal. It has to meet a certain criteria. And of course, cracks that are too far gone, it doesn't matter if you crack seal them, it warrants extensive rehabilitation as opposed to a crack seal. But things of that nature, we go ahead and essentially look at all our streets, see what's the best candidate and make sure that we address it there. And then one of the key things to take away is that you want to apply the prescriptive treatment at the right time to get the most bang for your buck.
And then what are the impacts, I guess, for like folks driving, getting out of their homes and stuff like that? Is it big? Is it small?
That's a great question. And to answer that, it does require some effort. That's why we actually brought construction management to the prior council meeting. It's gonna warrant some detouring. It's a minor inconvenience really, because crack seal's pretty quick. You slap it down and you go ahead and just wait for it to finish curing essentially, and then they're in and out of the area fairly quickly.
I'm sorry, quick point of privilege, I think it's called. Is Mayor still on?
She says her video.
Oh, okay, gosh, I just wanted to make sure that she was here. Okay, sorry. And then, what are we going to do, I guess, to let folks know that this is happening?
Of course, another great question. Similar to major projects such as this one in Front Street, of course, we're gonna go ahead and work with our community engagement coordinator, Jesus, and let folks know well in advance, right? And then, of course, when we're actually performing these projects, we're gonna have folks, we're gonna have the contractor put A stands or the barricade like stands that essentially let folks know, hey, we're gonna be working within this hour, these days, and we'll have those signages well in advance.
Okay, thank you. And then I don't have comments.
Thank you, Councilmember Correa.
I don't have questions, but I do have comments.
Sure.
When I was, when they were working in Gavilan last time, the signs that they put it on Gavilan. So people, like I was driving on West And when I was turning, I didn't see any signs until I turned. I said, well, can you guys put one on the other side so that people can see it? It's just to make sure that the signs are visible from all the parts so that people see that there is war happening. And the other thing is that council member Gonzalo Sanchez was not here when the guy.
Oh, Joe Ryrie?
Yeah, the guy that did all the presentation, he had a thorough presentation, and after that, you could walk or drive on Soledad and identify the 4 different categories and which one is in need of fixing. So I think it will be fast.
Yeah.
And thank you. I was while you were talking, I was thinking about the scars, because I was picturing, and you're gonna see it as a lot of scars in on the streets, but the scars do not show that you're broken, but that you provided a service for the city, and I hope that our residents can appreciate that. More so because if we had to fix the entire street, it will be almost impossible. If I remember correctly, I think that he was talking about $80 million to fix everything in Soledad.
Yeah.
So we are taking the best approach in this case, and we hope that it help us with the damages in our streets. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Velasquez, any questions or comments?
Yeah, thank you. And I apologize for turning off my camera. I'm just trying to get some bites to eat. I had a long day and haven't ate, so apologize for that. I think for me, just, thank you again, Alex, for bringing this forth. I know, as was said, we had an extensive presentation, at least for the council members that are here. I know Council Member Ansaldo Sanchez is new, but there is a lot of detailed information in regards to the PMP management program. And so I'm glad that we're able to see some of the remediation work that could be done now for our streets to be able to make sure that they don't continue to incur more damage as time goes by. So I think for me, the only thing is in terms of the signage, I know it's going to be a quick process, but is it possible to have a sign that talks about, these are the efforts that the city has implemented, and it's part of a larger plan, right? To be able to ensure that we have safe streets for our residents to drive on. So if we can just have some signage that talks about the PMP management program.
We can do something like that, yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I do have a question, and then I also have a comment. And my question was just, I think, coming from the auto repair industry, usually when I see estimates and there's like a big gap in pricing, whether it's on parts, especially on parts, I should say, I always, my first question is, are they aftermarket parts or are they OEM parts? Like, is it quality parts that we're paying for? Because on certain specific parts, it does matter if it's OEM, and then there's other parts that you can get away with using the aftermarket and it won't really have a negative or big impact. And so my question is, it's just because we're doing all these different bids that we get, and I don't have a problem with the bids that we got at all. But just for me to know, and maybe for for the public to know, because these are public funds, when I see a big gap, like pavement coating company, the company that we're going with at 423 or 424,000, almost, I'm rounding up, versus Doolittle Road Construction for 485,000. What have you noticed? Is there any insight that you have on what the difference is? Is it just that they charge more? Or is there a actual difference in the quality?
So there's, to answer your question, and great question, by the way, there's multiple elements that, to take into consideration when you receive these bids. Sometimes, I haven't seen it in my, time here, but I've also heard that, folks put out a bid and then when they're doing the calculations, it might not reflect correctly in their bid proposal, right? So there's one element like that. In other cases, for example, in this situation, maybe pavement coating codes is a lot closer to us as opposed to Doolittle. I think, I don't wanna speak untruthfully here, but I think Doolittle is out of state. And one of the big reasons that we see the difference in cost is mobilization. Getting all their equipment and folks, hotel bookings to have their crew work here, impacts their bid proposal. And that might be the case in this situation. But like I said, multiple different elements. Some folks rent their equipment, some folks own their equipment, and that also impacts it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, definitely, because we do obviously want to, save funds and go with the most affordable, but we also want to think about the long run and not have to pay double in the long run. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't know if anyone has any final comments that they want to give. No? Okay. I think for me, just in closing the final comments, I do think that, I know one of the most common complaints that we receive, I believe, or at least I speak for myself, is the streets, the pavements, the streets. And so I really think that our community, our residents, our visitors, those that work here, are gonna be happy to know that we're doing these repairs. So just wanted to thank you for all your work. So with that said, we will go ahead, and bring it back to our council, and if I could get a motion so that we can pass.
I move to approve resolution number 6079, contract with, for construction services with payment coding in the amount of, 423, 865 plus the 5% contingency.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so with that said, if we could get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Corralejo,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Gonzalez Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. So with that, resolution number 6079 passes, and I just wanted to thank you, Alex. And I think I see the Economic Development Department, so I think that's it for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so we will move on to business item number 6, resolution number 6090, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Soledad approving a professional service agreement between the City of Soledad and the Arts Council for Monterey County in an amount not to exceed $70,400 for implementation of the Public Arts Mural Project on Front Street and authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement. And with that said, I see we have our Economic Development Director, Kanu Yan. Kanu, if you could please present to us the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Once again, my name is Kanu Yang. I am the Director of Community and Economic Development here at the City of Soledad, and I'm here to present to you a staff report in regards of a contract agreement with the Arts Council for a mural project out on our Front Street. I'm gonna just do a quick introduction, and then I'm gonna have Tensia take over the items, since she is working primarily with beautifying the downtown area specifically for economic development growth. And also we do have Karen from the Arts Council of Monterey also online, and she will do a quick overview in regards of what her organization does, so you guys can fully understand the aspect of of what we are trying to produce here at the city of Soledad for this mural project. So with that being said, one of the main priorities that council has informed the city manager to inform staff is that downtown is very important for us in regards of revitalizing and being able to bring more economic growth to the community. So one of those things starts with beautifying the downtown area to not only bring more economic growth, but bring more regional economic growth to the community and to that area itself. And working coincidentally with the Front Street Means project, we believe that this is a great time to start talking about this revitalization and making sure that it is a priority. So with that being said, I'll have Cynthia Vargas, who is the Economic Development Coordinator, elaborate more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Pro Tem and council members. The Community and Economic Development Department has been diligently working in many ways with our Arts Council for a couple of years. Actually, our relationship started when Centennial, we were celebrating Centennial. So we've always talked about bringing in some art into town. We do have murals that currently exist. So we talked about either restoring or adding additional murals to our downtown district area. And one of the things is the goal is to inject vibrancy into this area, especially on our downtown Front Street corridor. This will create engaging cultural experience for those visiting the city of Soledad and also for those that live within the city. When you walk downtown, I mean, it's one of the first things that you see as people come down from the north or south end. So again, we always talk about how Soledad is unique in the sense that it has a window to its downtown. So it will bring a great exposure. We also want to attract those that pass, the tourists and those that walk in our downtown to stay longer, appreciate the beauty that our downtown has and enhance it by bringing some vibrancy through the art project. That's one of our goals with, as Kanu had mentioned, with the upcoming improvements that our Front Street is going to be going through and all the work that is good. It's a perfect time to add this additional art project to it. We want to ensure that the proposed public art will be designed to reflect the cultural history and the natural beauty that does surround our downtown. And one thing to note is that apart from the areas that we did select for this project, just to let you know, we also have an additional area that's being proposed, but that's by a private property owner already. So it's actually creating some engagement from other property owners that are seeing what we're trying to do. Now they also want to do it. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and let Karen discuss.
Hi, yes. Hi.
Hi, Karen.
I just want to be sure everyone can hear me. I'm Karen Lee Garcia, Chief Programs Officer with the Arts Council for Monterey County. Sorry, I can't, some reason my camera will not turn on right now. The Arts Council for Monterey County, our overall mission is to improve the quality of life for everyone in our region through the arts. And we have always, through our entire history, been involved with public art projects. But since the pandemic, because we could be outside, we've really expanded our reach with public art projects, murals, and other sculptures that we've been a part of in Salinas and in King City and other areas on the peninsula. So I've been in talks with mainly with Tencia for several years now, like she mentioned, about bringing some more vibrancy to your downtown area. So we have landed on a couple of what we think are the most central pieces to bring public art projects to your downtown area. And those will be, which are outlined, the restroom container, storage unit, and then the wall on the Gateway Center. We're really excited to get started with these projects. This is just phase one of a two-phase project to engage with artists in your local area and I'm repeating what everyone is saying, to really bring some additional life and to tap into the history and local culture for your community, and to keep people downtown in that area as they're walking by, to engage with, selfies and other things. So that's just a really brief overview of what we're talking to bring to the area.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and so with the information we have provided you, staff recommends that the city council consider and adopt resolution number 6090, approving a professional service agreement between the city of Soledad and the Arts Council for Monterey County in the amount not to exceed $70,400 for implementation of the public arts mural project on Front Street, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
Thank you, Kanu. I appreciate that. Thank you, Karen and Thencia. With that said, I did want to take it out to the public first. I know that this is something that our public has been asking for on social media or in person. They have been asking for some art, especially on our Front Street. So if we have anyone from the public that would like to give a comment, do we have anyone in the chambers that would like to give a comment?
I just want to say that I support the thing they want to do.
Yes. Thank you. Would you like to come up to the podium so those on Zoom can and YouTube can see? Thank you.
My name is Martin Perez and I live on 696 North Park. I just wanna say that I approve, I support the resolution they wanna do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Do we have anyone else on the chambers that would like to speak? Okay, seeing that there are none, we will take it out to Zoom.
There are none.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, we will bring it to council for, we will do questions first and then comments, because I know that this is a subject that, some of us are very passionate about. So if anyone has any questions, Councilmember Gonzalo Sanchez?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Cabrera?
Just one, do we have somebody to draw the murals, or is the council having that?
So as part of this agreement, we're actually going to have the Arts Council help us find someone, and we're aiming for a local artist to help us with the mural project, yes. So we don't have one in mind yet per se, but we do have the Arts Council to help us. Hopefully we can pick a local candidate.
Do you accept recommendations?
Yes, so any kind of recommendations or any kind of local artists that you guys are aware of, please let us know, and we can get you guys in touch with the Arts Council, so then we can make sure that they're part of the pool.
Okay.
Through the chair, the one thing I will just be honest with council is we are proposing to use ARPA funds. So really the caveat for any artist that we select, they will have to perform these murals within that timeline, which means they have to be completed by November.
Thank you for that, Megan. Do you have anything else to add, Councilmember Cabrera?
No.
Okay, thank you for your comments, and we will move on to Mayor Velasquez. If you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I have comments.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Trying to think, I did have a question, but I actually believe that council members answer, it actually had to do with, wanting or asking for local artists. Okay, so I do not have any questions, so we will move on to comments, final comments.
Yes, so I think this is a great opportunity for our marketing sake, and I have some recommendations on what should be on the mural, if that's all right. Well, I guess it is, because I'm talking, okay. So I know that for our GPAC, our slogan is Siempre Soledad, so I would love to see that somewhere in one of the murals. I think that'd be really great to kind of tie into our next 20 years. I also think that we should, we probably will, right, do something about Pinnacles National Park because it's something that's in our backyard and would really bring people in and make them curious about visiting there. Other things include also our California condors. I think that would be something that's really nice and a educational moment again for folks that are interested in. I don't remember the full term, ornithology, I don't know, but people like birds, bird watching, I'm one of those folks. As well as anything about the local agriculture, our vineyards and stuff like that. I think those would be really nice.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera?
Just one comment, I was wondering if you guys will consider doing a mural, in the bridge, going outside. Please consider the mural.
Yeah, we're working on it.
So we're working on that, Councilman Carrera, where I have to, I've already, and just to keep you guys up to date in regards to it, I've already I'm starting the conversation with Union Pacific already. So we're working on it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Velasquez, final comments?
Yes, thank you. And just so I don't forget my thought on the Union Pacific, I think there was, we all received a request for proposals from Union Pacific, who does, who awards different grants to communities where the railroad is close by, like Soledad. And they do fund those kind of art projects. So I just want to make sure that we don't pass that by. That was sent to all of us. Megan, I think I forwarded you a copy, or you have a copy of that. So that's a great opportunity. But just on my comments, no, I just want to say thank you. I know since I came in on council in 2016, I know art was something that I wanted to make sure that we had more of in the city. I know we had some murals in the past, but making sure that we had more. I know I engaged in different conversations also with the Arts Council, trying to look at what were the opportunities for us to partner. I know I had discussed the possibility of establishing an ad hoc committee. So I think this really gives us an opportunity. I know the city of Seaside, I had brought it up before, has a really good platform. So just for us to make sure, I know this has ARPA dollars, obviously, so there's more of an urgency for us to complete this mural project more expeditiously. But I would like to see from this, the formation of a future ad hoc committee to really look at public art and what does that look like for Soledad. And also, as Councilmember Ansaldo Sanchez said, is what are the themes that really are unique to Soledad, and how do we make sure that we have those elements included within our public art? So I think, great opportunity, but as we move forward, I really would like to include the formation of an ad hoc committee, arts committee. I don't know exactly the terminology, but an arts committee that would really establish a more formal, as we move on in terms of our projects, to include not just obviously murals, but also some of the other art components. So I just want to say thank you. I know we had talked about that artwork being done in the Container Village when we did the renovations of Cesar Chavez Park. So it didn't happen then, and I'm glad that we're moving forward to making sure that we do see that and bring in some of those particular uniqueness for our city as well. So thank you so much. I totally am supportive and looking forward to the completion of the murals by November, which is exciting.
Thank you, Mayor. My final comments are similar to those of my colleagues. I think for me, I think it's important to incorporate our Soledad residents and our community, and not only by having the artists be local, and by local, I mean not just Soledad, but our Salinas Valley or South County. I think that would be great. I know that we are pressed for time due to the ARPA funds and the requirements that come with those funds. But also I think it's important, to have that community input so that, I think it was Stencia who mentioned they wanted to reflect our culture. And, I know what I would like, and it's actually very similar to what I think others that are sitting up here with the dais, that are sitting on here on the dais with me would like. But you know, it's also, I think, it should be a reflection of our community as a whole. So I don't know if there's any way that we could do something quick. I know we can't do a lot of outreach because we're limited for time, but maybe we could do a survey. They seem to be pretty successful lately, the online surveys. So maybe we could do, you know, something where it's more short at a time, you know, for now. And then I am in agreement with the mayor that, you know, maybe we form an ad hoc committee or some kind of, you know, committee that can give more direction when it comes to this. But I'm really excited to see this come forward. So just wanted to thank you for your help, Canoe and Tencia, and also Karen, thank you. Thank you so much. You and the Arts Council for working with our city and with our staff. And I'm excited to see, you know, the final outcome. So with that said, we will go ahead and bring it back to the council. If we could get a motion.
I move to pass or to adopt resolution number 6 behind you.
Thank you. Perfect. So we have a first and a second, and we could get a roll call, a vote, please.
Mayor Ana Velazquez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Maria Moreno,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernando Gonzalez Sanchez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So resolution number 6090 has passed. Thank you. And we are winding down on our meeting here. And so we will go ahead and move to our next item, which is the mayor announcements and reports. Mayor Velazquez, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just some quick items that I attended on May the 2nd. I was invited to attend the Law Day 2024 Voices of Democracy. So this was an opportunity for me to share with our local students how Soledad ensures we have a process for civic engagement and ensure that all voices are heard in our community. So it was nice to see we had students from Soledad High School as well as students from Rancho Cielo that are from South County and from Soledad. And then on May the 7th, I was invited to attend the Bay of Life project. They're going to be having an exhibit in the Monterey Museum of Art, but the part of the presentation was also to ensure that there's inclusive access to outdoor areas for especially for our underserved communities or our South County communities. And the recognition that as a region, we need to recognize the beauty of the Salinas Valley as well. That includes the Pinnacles National Park, includes the Salinas River, which is, you know, critical to the ecosystem of our oceans and Monterey County. And then on the 8th, on May the 8th, I attended the AMBAG meeting. A couple of items that were really important there is the directors approved the draft fiscal year 2024-25 Monterey Bay Regional Work Program. So this is the performance measures for the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan Sustainable Community Strategy, looking at how, as a region, we are promoting and supporting alternative modes of transportation. So that was approved. And then also the directors approved award to 6 projects that were awarded funding as part of the carbon reduction program. There was $6 million that come through AMBAG, and this is for the Tri-County area. And there was 6 projects. City of King was one of the South County projects that received award, and that's $6 million for over 5 years. But they decided this year to award larger projects. And then we also approved the draft 2026 regional growth forecast updates. So this was the forecast for the Tri-County area. And I know as we're looking at our housing element and looking at, you know, today we had a lot of discussion in terms of our future growth and how do we accommodate for that. They anticipate, and this is anticipated growth by 2015. And so one of the items that they had noted there was that H2A was considered a group quarters. So they had to make some revisions to some of the counts. they gave us a sub-regional allocation, so we were able to see all of the cities and their growth projections. So for Soledad, we're obviously increased, our population is going to increase over the next couple of years, but there was also a significant decrease in the prison population. So I think it's something that we need to take a look at, what the impacts would be as the city grows, the population increases, but the prison population decreases in terms of some of the contracts that we have with the wastewater facility. They did stated that all the jurisdictions were asked to receive feedback on some of those numbers, and the Department of Finance released the population numbers on April 30th. And then on the 11th, I attended the summit for our youth council, which was Soledad, Greenfield, and Gonzales. So I just want to say thank you, congratulations to them. They did an amazing job. We had the keynote speaker they selected was for Fabiola Moreno, who was a former Gonzales Youth Council, delivered an amazing speech. She was really great. And so I just want to acknowledge Rodrigo and Liliana, who did a great job in coordinating, putting this together. It was a first ever summit. So it was awesome to see that it's happening in Soledad and that the youth are at the table, and they have a lot of great feedback to provide to us and how we can support them and how we can make our city a better place as well. And so thank you to them. Thank you to Jesus as well. And thank you to the school district and everyone that supported the youth. The 12th of May, I attended the Celebration Foundation's Mother Day event at Cesar Chavez. It was a great turnout. We had a lot of mothers that came in celebration of Mother's Day event. And then on the 13th, I attended the MST board meeting. Just quick items of significance. We received the update on the 2023 annual compliance financial report, and then also approved the updated MST advertising rates and updates on the SURF project. And that's it in terms of my meetings. Just a quick announcement. We will be having, again, this is the second year that we're partnering with the Workforce Development Board of Monterey County, and we are going to be coordinating a youth job fair. So this is important. So our youth, as they're going to go on summer break, we want to make sure that they have meaningful opportunities, especially for job skills. And so the youth job fair, I think everybody has a flyer. Please help us to disseminate that. Is going to be on May 29th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Soledad Community Center. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so we will bring it to council. If there's any council announcements. Councilman Gonzalo Sanchez, please.
Yeah, so on May 2nd, I attended the Rotary event in conjunction with the Soledad High School to recognize top academic performing students and students that have done a lot for their community. I attended, so did Mayor Velasquez. And then on May 8th, I attended the city luncheon to recognize our city employees, and it was really fun. And I was there for the whole time of the event, and I had a really good time getting to meet everybody. I don't think I had the chance to meet a lot of folks yet since I've been on council, so it was a really good opportunity to get to know some folks. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
I was also at the luncheon. I was not there. I just ate and ran because I had a call from my son and I had to move, but I love those lunches. You get to know people that you see, but you don't actually talk to. And that was incredible. I also participated in that. I'm sorry, I forgot to get the name. It's the presentation of about water. What is it called? Yeah, SB something. It's Saturday they did a presentation in Harnell. I was not able to stay the whole thing, but I asked them if I could get the recording video for that presentation, for the entire presentation. They told me they will get me a link for that presentation in English and have one with subtitles in Spanish, so we can share it with the city. I stayed there most of the presentation, but I didn't stay for that final. What is it for the conclusion? So we will have that. They will send us those links so we can share with that with our residents. I also participated in the summit, so I wanted to come and be with our young people in the youth summit. Again, I got there for the launch.
You see a pattern?
They're gonna start seeing a pattern, me showing up on the launch. But I got the chance to speak to a few of them and to speak to some of the organizers, and it was a wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. Yes, I met, I think it was yesterday, with our victims advocate, Caitlin Samudio. We had a pretty good meeting. You know, she wanted some input from the council when it comes to the victims advocate position, and she actually, I was impressed. She's so young and she has so many great ideas already on her own, so I really feel like she just needs our support. And then also, I did meet with some business owners. We have a lot of new businesses that are opening up. You know, I believe we have Dutch Bros that's scheduled to open in less than 2 weeks. I believe it's on May 24th. It's a Friday, so if all goes well, they'll be opening their doors then. I also had a phone meeting again with SNPBUS. We continue to speak just regarding animal services locally and how we can support SNP and work together to ultimately be able to support our dog owners and also our dogs, cats, and other animals. Also, I had some conversations with some CET students, or I should say former students, and I just really wanted to bring it up during the meeting because I'm just so impressed. These two young adults are 22 years old or younger, and both of them went through CET's vocational classes program. One was, I believe, the semi-driving, and I don't know if it's probably called truck driving. I just don't know the correct terminology. And the other one was for their electrical program. And both of these young gentlemen are now homeowners. So just wanted to say, you know, I think, you know, for many vocational training is the right option for them. And it's not, you know, I guess on tiers, it's not lower than, you know, a 4-year degree. I think, you know, different strokes for different folks. So I definitely wanted to, you know, put that out there with CT. And that is all I have today for my reports. We will go ahead and move on to council member praises. We will start with Councilmember Alessandro Sanchez.
Yes, I want to say happy anniversary to our city manager,
Oh, yeah.
Megan Hunter.
Congratulations. 15.
And
That's
then-
right.
And then I also just want to give kudos to Mayor Pro Tem for running her first meeting today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's it.
Councilmember Cadero?
Yes, I wanna go a little bit. I wanna do it today because I'm not sure that I'm going to have the time to do it later, but I wanna praise all the students who are promoting to the next level, from 6 to 7, from 8 to 9, and also the high schoolers that are going from graduating into the new life. Some of them will choose to go to 4-year college, others will stay in harder college, and others, will choose a vocational training. And I wanna tell you that all the options, as long as you is something that fulfills your desires, fulfills your love for that, and you have passion to do it, then you will succeed in that. I used to think that only the education was the only path, but I realized after all these years that there are some people who have different paths. So I'm wishing you the best in your path, and yeah, God bless you. Their parents and the teachers as well, because we had so many amazing teachers that they actually take the time to speak to our students, and that actually see the potential in them, and that is important. So thank you to all of them as well.
Thank you. Mayor Velasquez?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think for me that I want to go along that with that too. It was to all of the graduates at all levels. I know we have a lot of amazing students, and also to the parents. I know that it's not easy sometimes. So just congratulations to all of the students that are graduating. Thank you to all the teachers as well. I know they are critical in terms of the success of our students. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to their parents as well. And I know I have a son this year that will be graduating, so really excited. And then I also want to recognize and shout out, we have a lot of amazing youth, and I think we all know that, and we've all seen our different youth in action, but I do want to do a shout out to Vanessa Aguilar, who is local from Soledad, and her parents have really dedicated their time and their family time to really supporting her as an athlete, and especially in soccer. And I also want to make sure that I recognize her because she was recognized by Senator Caballero for this district as part of the Latino Spirit Awards that happen once a year, and you have recognition from different individuals across California. One of the individuals that was recognized was our NASA astronaut, the NASA astronaut that is from this region, the first farm worker NASA astronaut. So she was in that category where they recognized her. So I just want to say a shout out to her and to her parents for the dedication and commitment they've had to really support her as an athlete, and congratulations on such a prestigious recognition. And then I also want to do a shout out to Sophia Martel, who's also a senior from Soledad High School, will be graduating this year. She also returned, she just returned from Japan. I think it was on Saturday when we had the youth summit, and she was playing in Japan also in a soccer league and a soccer team. So I just want to say shout out to all of our amazing athletes that we have in our city, and to all of our amazing young ladies also that are just, breaking barriers, shattering ceilings, and making it happen, and really putting Soledad on the map. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually did also have on here as part of my my praises, definitely with the graduations being the graduation date being so close in proximity to us. I definitely wanted to thank the teachers, the parents, the community at large for supporting all of the students that are going to be graduating, as Councilmember Cabrera said, in all levels, in all grade levels. I think, COVID changed things up so much, when it came to mental health, when it came to academics, to prioritizing, organizing. And so I just, really wanted to thank everyone, and just tell them that, I'm so proud of each and every one of them for all their accomplishments, whether they be big, like being the salutatorian or valedictorian, or whether they be small. Maybe it's just harder for some to even get out of bed. We don't know, what everyone is going through, but just wanted to thank everyone for, whatever it is that they have overcame or that they're proud of. And then also, I did have on here law enforcement. I think with today's proclamation that we gave, I see our chief is still here, so I wanted to thank him for being the fearless leader that he is, and not just in Soledad, but also in, in our neighboring cities. And I also wanted to, going along with that, we have had, unfortunately, in South County, some, mass murders or some serious crimes. I know in Soledad we had, unfortunately, 2 fatalities. And then I apologize, King City had multiple victims, that unfortunately made national news. And law enforcement was able to find, and arrest, make some arrests when it came to that. But I think there's a lot that goes into that, you know, that I did want to give praises to, and that's definitely to law enforcement and Soledad, and then all the other agencies that support it. I remember seeing the conferences and press conferences, and it was just packed with law enforcement from so many different places in our region, and I think that just really shows, you know, that commitment that they have to keeping our cities and our people safe. And then also going along with them, I wanted to also thank the citizens, because there definitely was citizens and residents who spoke up in order for those arrests to be made. And I think that is something that without them, no arrest would have been made. And hopefully convictions. So, you know, again, I just wanted to highlight that it took a lot of effort. It was a lot of different people. It was law enforcement. It was regular folk like you and I. And that's definitely something that should be a priority for us all to have, you know, to have safe cities. And we are very intertwined. I think, you know, our families, you know each other, or we go to Greenfield to buy something, or go to Salinas to go to the mall. And we are very close, you know, in location and proximity, and I think also in families and such. So that's my praises for today. So thank you, Chief, and anyone else in law enforcement that's out there. We appreciate it. We will move on to our city manager's report. Megan.
Thank you. I have about an hour report, if that's okay. Just kidding. I'll be very quick. I know it's been a long evening, and so I just wanted to thank council for bearing with us on these agendas. I know they've been quite hefty, and it's a lot to get through, and I think everyone has done an excellent job the last couple of meetings to get through quite a bit of content as quickly as possible. I wanted to let council know that we are trying to schedule a regional meeting with my counterparts in South County, the chiefs, and the county regarding animal services, and whether or not we can do something as a region in South County regarding that. We're also in conversation about AB 413. I think it's great for safety, but all of our communities are impacted with parking issues. So there is a concern how that may affect parking, especially I think Mayor Pro Tem pointed out that we have a lot of overcrowding in our housing, which means that, you know, you might have multiple families living in one house that also impacts with a lot of cars. So we are cognizant that might be an issue. We are also meeting as a South County team with MVEP to talk about what kind of services they're providing and to make sure that they don't forget us in South County. The Youth Council is going to come back and give a presentation on June 5th. I know they haven't been coming for a while because of our agendas, but I think it's important for them to talk about the Youth Summit and some of the work that they have been doing. And then I did want to note that exactly today is my 1-year anniversary. So I thank you for your support, and we will be putting on to closed session at the next meeting an item to talk about how you want to move forward with the evaluation process, and then potentially on June 19th is when I would hear my evaluation. And then real quick, there's a lot of budget activities that are happening. I think I've talked to each of you about having maybe a short, I don't want to say short, but maybe a study session on the capital improvement plan sometime in May to go over more of the content of the plan. We might not have the firm numbers, which would dictate the year that we might do that project for general plan projects, because there are a lot of things in flux, including labor negotiations, but we can tell you on those projects where we actually have a funding source, and most of our capital improvement projects have Measure X money, might have fees. So if it's, I think most of you are open or are interested in such a study session, so I'll have Darlene reach out to you to see about your availability. And we also will have a regular budget study session, which we do every year. So we're gonna be looking to schedule something ahead of the budget adoption. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention that tomorrow and Friday, I'll be out of the office, but I'll be available should you need me. I attend I'm on a the Regional Government Services Authority board, and we have to attend these annual meetings, and it does enable the city to access $15,000 of free technical assistance. So it's it's a nice benefit for us, and we have been able to use that for recruitment effectively. So that is why I do that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Megan. And again, congratulations on being with us for a year.
Yeah.
Interesting year. We're glad you're still with us.
Quite fast. It went fast.
Yes, it certainly did. Thank you. Okay, so then we will go ahead and move on to future agenda items. Feel free to jump in if you have future agenda items.
Yes, actually, if I may. So I know that we have a city council meeting scheduled on June 19th, and I wanted to bring up for discussion at the next council meeting if we want to move forward with this meeting, as June 19th is a federal holiday to commemorate Juneteenth, which is a day that is celebrated to commemorate the ending of slavery. I would also like to, in the future, have some sort of discussions to address the big rigs and the RVs and other cars that are parked on Gavilan Drive. I know we kind of talked about how that might be going away, but maybe any other thoughts for enforcement, maybe signage and stuff like that. And then also, not to like beat a dead horse, but just for the pride flag in perpetuity. And if maybe we can just have that on the consent calendar if applicable. And that's it for me.
Thank you.
I have one. Maybe staff can bring information about the service member banners. And if there's any plan to display them again, or what is going on with that, or maybe an update on that item.
Thank you. Mayor?
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, and I know we've discussed it, but I just want to make sure it doesn't fall off the radar, just the code enforcement priorities too, especially as we're seeing more activity in terms of just, you know, with a lot of the big rigs and things that we're seeing across the board with our community. Just, I think it's important to be able to come back and have a comprehensive discussion in terms of what those priorities look like. And then also, I know I talked about the porta potties, and I know this is seasonal, but they're back again. You know, I don't know what a final resolution would look like, but I really want to make sure that we don't forget. I think as we're all trying to, or as the city has tried to really beautify, and we're doing a lot of investments in our community, I'm certainly open to working with these agriculture companies because I know it's important for our community, and that's a lot of the livelihood of our residents. But I just, for me, it's just aesthetically, you come into the city, we don't want to welcome people, you know, with porta potties, and just making sure that we can somehow find a resolution to that. Those are the items I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I only have one future agenda item, and it is we could bring to council, before council the committee appointment criteria. I know we have several committees, and then even today, we were discussing ad hoc committees for the arts program or arts council. And I know, for example, for Measure S, I believe there's only 2 requirements on here, which say 18 years of age and must reside within the city limits and be an eligible voter. So I definitely would love to have that come to council and for us to be able to discuss, what the current criteria is, I guess, for most of our committees, and also at that point discuss if we want to recommend or make any changes to them.
Sounds good.
Thank you. And so before I adjourn in closing, I just wanted to thank our wonderful staff. We have Darlene and Stephen, and also just staff in general that make these meetings happen. I also wanted to thank Mike and Megan for helping me out through this meeting, and my colleagues here on the council, including the mayor. Thank you for your patience, everybody, and thank you for pointing me in the right direction. I was not feeling well today, but I do know that we had a full agenda, and from what I know, our agendas are not going to get any smaller anytime soon. So we want to make sure to be in attendance, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my duty. And thank you most of all to our public, to the gentleman still sitting here at the chamber, and to those watching on YouTube or Zoom. And with that, I want to. Yes.
The chair, I just wanted to, I want to make sure that I'm right, but just a reminder that we do have a meeting next week, right, the 23rd. So.
Yes, thank you. I forgot to remind them.
Thank you for that reminder. Okay.
For the
That's for the
appointment.
appointment to fill a vacancy.
May 22nd, right? Or 23rd. Okay,
23rd.
thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for everyone who joined us today. And with that.
Chair, I'm sorry, that reminds me of
Yes.
something. So I would like to have calendar invitations for meetings. So thank
Yes,
you.
we'll look at
Yeah,
that.
we already have been emailed on that.
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think I created that, so. yeah.
We'll make sure.
So if we are all in on the same train of thought
Chair,
there.
I just wanna say, hey, we wouldn't finish at 11:30 today.
You are welcome. And with that, at 9:51, we adjourn.